But we will talk about respect, okay? So, racing.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Slovakia Ring and the 2023 Saudi World Series International Finals. And it's lights a green, we're off and racing, here we go, 3 wide, 4 wide, into turn number 1. We are getting set to crown the World Rental Kart Champions. 360 drivers from 50 nations are set to compete at this challenging 1200-metre circuit in equal equipment where driver talent will shine through. Great move! What a pass! The tension is reaching boiling point. It has been a dominant drive. And yellow flags are out. Drivers have to slow down. No overtaking. Red flags on the track. The race is being stopped. The tension is mounting. Here comes the line. Green flags are out again. We're back underway. Support your endurance podium. What a fantastic race.
We are moving to Belgium. Genk.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Karting Genk, home of champions and finals day at the Saudi World Series International Final. We have karts on the grid. It's time for the superheats. Myself and Gert Timrots are here to bring you all the action.
Good morning, Henry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Karting Genk.
Yes, indeed. This will be a 13 minute plus 1 lap race. 1.5 point times the points available in this race. And let's quickly take you through the starting lineup. Pole position in kart number 15 from Poland is Lukasz Dzierżycki. On the outside of row number 1, Viktor Nikolov from Bulgaria.
Then Peter Fabry and Juraj Mikosz on the second row on the grid.
Marcel Piasek and Ellis Cox go from row number 3.
Timofey Kushniryuk from Ukraine starts 7th and Mark Beltran from Spain in P8.
Max Piacek and Alessio Zacchi round out your top 10.
Then comes Roman Curtis and Celia Desot.
Coco Sugawara and Jude Puddlefoot are on row number 7.
On row number 8, Franjo Toncic and Maximilian Sovic.
Row number 9, rounding out the top 18, Takeharu Nakamura and Agaliki Nusapulu.
Then P19, Vladimir Bruno and Enzo Bistelia.
The drivers starting outside the top 20 are led by Filip Volsky and Kazuki Yamada.
P23 on the grid, Mille Karlstrom and Jade Wilson.
Ryusei Takagi and Roger Dioniso are next.
And at the end of the grid, Anastasios Pavlidis, Sam Nygren, Samuel Erdelt and George Badr.
George Badr, the first Lebanese driver to qualify for the junior categories here at the Saudi World Series finals. Gertz, the weather is dry, the sun is shining.
So far.
I think it is Turbo Soleil. Beautiful sunshine in French, something like that. Anyway,
if you're looking for a forecast, there is expected some light rain about 12 o'clock, but will it be there or not? In the previous days, when we were expecting some small rain, it became really big. So no, we do not know actually, will it rain or not?
The only thing in the forecast that is guaranteed today is excitement. To bring you up to speed, Lukas Joziski has 91 points, Viktor Nikolov and Petr Fabry on 79, Juraj Mikosh on 78, Marcel Piacek on 75, Ellis Cox on 70. This is a points-based championship. It's not winner takes all. The green flag drops. We're off and racing.
And the first race of final day here in Genk, Belgium starts for Saudi World Series International Finals. Lukas and Nicolo going into the first corner. Lukas from inside, Nicolo from the outside, and he stays behind now, fighting for the second place with Petr Fabry. 3 leaders in the point standings now fighting for the first 3 places on the race.
Although it's single 1.5 times the heat points available in this race and double points available in the final, that Lukas Jarzynski's rivals have to do something about him now. He's already got a 12-point lead in the standings. They need to peg back the number 15 driver from Poland as we head through the button
S's. There is a
S's.
spin at the button S's. Someone is staying on the track in the opposite direction. Somehow everyone is going through, and we have a one go-kart in the grass. He's not moving back on the track. And dramatic start for the first lap of this race.
Yes, 4 drivers coming to grief early on. They all back in the running, but a long way down. What a fantastic start through Clubhouse Corner, past the podium, out in front of our commentary position. The leaders are already spreading out, and as we cross the line, who is that? That's our pole sitter with a huge advantage. Jarzynski leading Nikolov by 1.4 seconds, with Piacek, Fabry, Puddlefoot, Curtis and Cox rounding out the top 8.
So great start for the leaders, and going so he will extend his points position and be very, very well prepared for the finals. We had 26 points in a heat. Now we have 45 on the table for the win in superheat.
Yes, indeed. There is the number 20 cart going through. That is Petr Fabry chasing Max Piacek in the number 6 cart. They will have to try and work together. The top 3 have broken clear. Looking further back, Franjo Tontic from Croatia, Enzo Biseglia from Belgium, Timofey Kushneruk and Juraj Mikosh in cart number 10, who was up in the point standings. They were the 4 drivers that had the spin on the opening lap. So Mikosh dropping back to 8th place in the point standings.
Now he's very far back in a 27th place and working his way back through the field. Second lap coming to an end. Lukasz Jerzerski leading. The three leaders have spread for more than 1 second without slipstreaming going through the starting straight. And the fourth and fifth positions, Max Piatek and Peter Fabry, second and third in the standings before the race, and now are working together.
And fastest lap, 1 minute 20.446 for Bulgaria's Viktor Nikolov. He has brought the gap down by 1/10 of a second. Oh, 3 wide in the middle of the pack, trying to pick out who that would be. That is Celia Dussault at the head of that group. Oh, and a yellow flag goes out. Someone has a spin. Bruno, Beltran, Nakamura and Volsky all involved. Ellis Cox has fallen all the way back to 14th. That's not great news for the Englishman, who is trying to move up from 5th in the point standings.
Now the third lap in this race, we had 10 minutes plus 1 lap in the heats. Now we have 13, so a third of work more to do today than the day before yesterday. 9 minutes plus 1 lap still to go. The leaders are still spreading out, their gap increasing to 1.5 seconds, and the fourth and fifth positions are the only hope to work together, but they are joined by 6 and 7 from Jude Paddlefoot and Roman Curtis. The British guys are coming.
Well, it was the Brits to the fore here. Look at that midfield pack coming through turn number 9, down towards turn 10 now. That early apex, let the kart float out, pick up the power as we cross the start-finish straight. This is the battle for, about 11th or 12th position.
Jude Paddlefoot moves forward in P5. He is in front of Max Piatek. Piatek was far in front by points after the first heats, and now they are fighting on the track, and Jude Paddlefoot is up to P5.
New fastest lap for the reigning champion, Max Sovic, although I have to say, after a poor day not yesterday, but after a poor day on Thursday, Sovic is only 16th to the points. I don't think he'll be defending his title. We're side by side. We're 4 wide going down the Europa Plan straight. Fantastic driving. Look at that. Centimetres apart. Will they all get it slowed down? Somehow they do, and that I think maybe Ellis Cox in the middle or Celia Dussault also getting involved, and there's still 3 wide coming out of turn the Button Complex into 180. Great racing, but up at the front, Lukasz Jerzerski is continuing now to pull away.
It seemed like Sam Nygren, that was the guy who was moved into the spin, not went into the spin, but was moved into the spin.
He was given an assist, and I couldn't quite see who was the other member of the party last seen leaving the scene
who
of
was
the crime.
invited.
Yes, and there's a move up the inside, almost 2 positions gained. I think that was Peter Fabry trying to gain ground again. He'd slipped back to 7th position behind Roman Curtis as the leaders spread out. Still Franjo Toncic at the back of the field. We've also had a problem for Vladimir Bruno now. Anastasios Pavlidis down to 26th. George Bader up into P25. Ellis Cox has fallen back to 21.
And we are going through the next lap. 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap left till the end. Still 1.3 seconds between the leaders. The best lap for Viktor Nikolov, but he is unable to close the gap enough to use the slipstream and try to fight with Lukasz Jerzerski. Jerzerski is still leading by more than 1 second. The gap is slightly less at the end of this lap. They are approaching the final corner now. There is a fight for the places at the end of the first 10, and there is a train of the go-karts fighting for 20th places now, and the leaders over the finish line once more, and it's 0.7 seconds. Nikolov, one more best lap of this race, and he is closing in.
There they go through turn number 1. You can see Viktor Nikolov, the slightly taller driver with the dark blue race suit, and that last lap was on a 119.8 for the race leader, a 119.2 as we head out to turn number 4. Further back, here is a look at the fight between the number 25 kart of Roman Curtis. Jude Puddlefoot is there with the number 3, and behind them, I think that is the number 1 kart of Max
He is
Sovic.
side by side. They are fighting for their place on the track through the whole Europa Land straight.
Into 180 now. Nikolov has got the bit between his teeth, closing in relentlessly on the race leader. Now, Lukasz Dzierżycki, he's not going to want to give the lead to Nikolov, but he knows that Nikolov will still be behind him in the point standings. Nikolov, though, coming up behind him, going into turn number 10. Good run out of turn 9. Will we see a move on the start-finish straight? Or you could see him defending. Lukasz Dzierżycki defends. Nikolov will have to try and go around the outside, and Lukasz Dzierżycki saying, okay, thanks, push me, push me. I don't think that's a great tactic for Nikolov. Nikolov wants to draw Dzierżycki into a battle. That slows them all down. That'll allow the chasing pack to catch up, and maybe Dzierżycki will lose a few more places. This Nikolov needs to get moving and try to slow Dzierżycki down.
Dzierżycki is slowing already. He's driving very defensive. He still has more than 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go. We saw day before yesterday, such tactics were working if you are doing that in the last lap, not in the middle of the race. He still has a lot of work to do. If they are driving so defensive, they will be catched by Marcel Piatczak, Max Piatek and Jude Paddlefoot. They are coming there from behind.
Indeed. So out of 180, down the infield straight towards Clubhouse Bend. Will we see a move from Nikolov? At the moment, Dzierżycki will have 141 points. Nikolov will have 125. And that's almost giving Dzierżycki a free run at the 2024 Saudi World Series Kids Cup title.
There are more points on the table now. There were only 2 points difference between first and second in the heats. And now we are fighting for 4 points difference between first and second. That's worth it. That's worth it to risk, to take his risks. Viktor Nikolov, he is following closely Lukasz Dzierżycki for second lap already. He had 3 fastest laps of the race in a row, and now he is behind the leader. It's time to fight.
Yes, indeed, into turn number 4. As we look back further in the pack, great scrap going on. 2, 4, 6 karts all battling for what is 9th position. That's Mark Beltran, Celia Dussault, Takehiro Nakamura, Filip Volsky, Kakoa Sugawara and Alessio Zacchi. In this battle pack, we're watching 5-second penalties being dished out. Vladimir Bruno has got a 5-second penalty. Jurasz Mikosz, as well as the spin, he's been given 2 penalties, a 3-second and a 5-second. That will knock Jurasz out of the top 5 in points.
Nikolov still following Dzierżycki into the final corner of the next lap. They are going on to the starting straight, bumper to bumper. Will he try to dive inside? Will he try to go outside? Dzierżycki is in the middle of the track before the first corner. They are going bumper to bumper without any attempt from Nikolov to overtake.
And the gap back to third position is 7 seconds. So Nikolov, I can understand
there
why
is a fight for third. They are fighting now, Marcel Piatczak and Max Piatek.
Side by side for those two coming out of turn number 2. Meanwhile, the leaders are already in turn number 4. And I can understand why Nikolov is thinking, okay, this is maybe my best chance to win this race. But you've got to think big picture. This is not the main event. The main event is later on, but it's not winner takes all anymore.
But the picture will become bigger as the points here are more on the table. He will lose more than in a heat if he lets Dzierżycki finish in front of him.
Yes, indeed. And down towards Clubhouse Corner they go. Nikolov has been sat on Dzierżycki's rear bumper. Here on track now is the battle for third position between Marcel Piatczak from Poland and his countryman Max Piatek, and 3 Poles in the top 4 plus a Bulgarian. It's all the Eastern Europeans had their Weetabix this morning. They've woken up the right side of the bed. Jude Puddlefoot runs 5th with Max Sovic right behind him. Then it's Roman Curtis and Peter Fabre. The top 10 rounded up by Celia Dussault and Mark Beltran.
Nikolov on Jędrzejewski before turn number 3, still driving in the middle of the track. Lukas Jędrzejewski defending his position and trying not to let Viktor Nikolov through. They still are driving pretty fast laps and still are pulling away from the third place. The gap is increasing because Marcel Piaczak and Max Piatek are fighting themselves.
Kazuki Yamada, the Japanese driver, with a 10-second penalty for a severe contact. Obviously, the officials want to clamp down early on driving standards today. Race director Manuel Branco being assisted around the track by a number of
and there is a
Sony
fight
kart
for a
officials.
third again. Marcel Piaczak and Max Piatek in the 180 degrees corner now approaching Clubhouse. There are four-way battle between Piaczak, Piatek, Paddlefoot and Sovic.
Now, out off camera, Sam Neugren has stopped in his kart and is sat talking to one of the officials, crash helmet off. I think maybe he's just taking a bit of a winding. His family can just see that he's okay. Probably a little bit upset, I would imagine, but still, with the clock strikes 0, this is the final lap. When will Nikolov make his move? He's got that now. He draws alongside, coming up towards turn 4. They're side by side, but Jędrzejewski has the inside line. Will we see the crossover? Nikolov can't get to the inside. Now he ducks to the outside, going down the Europa plan.
He goes to the outside, he's out of the slipstream, and Piaczek going away. Now they are back bumper to bumper through the button S's, and in the midfield part of the track we have half a lap to go in this race. And Nikolov has chased Jędrzejewski for the most of this race and is still behind. The third time he's going to outside before the Clubhouse corner and is still not enough. He stays behind. Jędrzejewski defends his position. 2 more corners to go at the end of the lap. There is a checkered flag out already. Out to the outside again for Nikolov. He's inside at the exit of the final corner. The fight goes through the final meters of this race. And that's it. Viktor Nikolov takes the win with Lukas Jędrzejewski in second. And that is reducing the lead of Jędrzejewski in standings.
Yes, it is. Nikolov taking the victory, and provisionally he stays second in points. Jędrzejewski will have 137 points. Nikolov 129. The rest of the leaders still crossing the start-finish line. Max Sovic takes his best result of the week so far. The Slovakian with third position, just in front of Max Piatek, Jude Puddlefoot and Marcel Piaczak. Then Peter Fabry in 7th. A top 10 result for Celia Dussaud and Marc Beltran, and Alessio Zacchi rounds out your top 10. There is a look at the full finishing order on your screen. Bad result for Juraj Mikosh, only 28th. He drops to 7th in points. A bad result for Ellis Cox. He drops to 8th in points, courtesy of a 22nd place finish. And Timothy Kushniruk, he drops to 10th in the point standings, courtesy of a 19th place finish. So this broadcast is available on the Sony Kart YouTube channel and the Sony World Series Facebook page. Please comment in on Facebook in the comment sections. Let us know who you're cheering for, where you're watching from. Here we look back. Look at this great replay action from WFR Live TV. 4 wide down the Europa Plan straight. And that I think was the start of Ellis Cox's journey towards the back of the field. Oh, that was Sam Neugren spinning round, and Sam would eventually retire. But Nikolov, he worked with the race leader the entire race until 2 corners to go, showing remarkable patience.
Great patience and great tactics. He went 4 times to the outside at the end of the corner, letting Jędrzejewski defend in the middle of the track. And at the final corner, where are actually 2 corners together, and the second one is flat out, he went to the outside again and then got the better line just at the final straight of the race.
Look at that. The gap was
seems
700ths of a second.
It was unexpected for Jerzy. It seemed so.
Yeah, but then Jerzy thinking points, and that's very important. Now,
And Nikolov thinking now or never.
now or never, yes. Well, Nikolov, he will have to outscore 12. He's got to gain 8 points over Jerzy in the final, so he can't do that in the final.
He cut third of the points.
Yes, so
He is
cut a
now
little
closer.
bit. Yes,
That's
but
not a little bit. It's a 1/3.
But Jerzy can sit behind Nikolov first and second in the final and still take the title. Now, Sam Nygren is still sat in his cart. You just saw across our screens the ambulance head onto the circuit. That is just as a precaution. Yeah, Nygren still sitting in his cart. Crash helmet off, which is a good sign. The driver's taken his crash helmet off, but he's obviously in a little bit of discomfort, and the medical team are there with him, so that will delay proceedings ever so slightly while there is nothing happening on circuit. A big hello to Stacey Ratford saying, come on the British. I know, it's been a big couple of days in the UK, and the sun is shining here in Belgium. I'm sure the sun is shining back home in good old Blighty as well. As maybe we'll take this opportunity to have a first word of the day from some of our sponsors, just because there's nothing happening on the circuit. And Manuel Branco, the race director, heading over, you can see on his bike there, to double check on Sam Nygren. The medical team have I think Sam has walked into the back of the ambulance. But I tell you what, let's have a quick word from our sponsors before the next race.
Capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
Welcome back to Genk, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Junior Kids Cup. Not the older of the City Juniors, but the ones that are taller and slightly heavier. I'm pleased to say that Sam Neugren has made it back to the paddock, and hopefully we will see the young Swede out in the final. Here we go then. Let's take you through the full starting lineup. The karts lining up on the grid. They will do a rolling lap and then come around. And pole position, driver number 5, Alexei Mukin, with Fabian Kopp from Germany on the outside of row number 1.
In the second row on the grid, in the inside, William van Leersum and Igor Polak on the outside.
Orestes Borgaila and Siamit Vera, Lithuania and Poland, represented on row number 3.
Kristaps Tenis, Latvia from 7th, and Ethan Saunders from Great Britain from 8th.
Theo Di Vincenzo from Belgium and Jordan's Malik Firas Mustafa are rounding out your top 10.
After top 10 comes Ivan Koptiev and Mario Matias.
Latvia and the United States are represented on row 7, Edgars Lielgalvis and Aidan Galway.
Then Boris Tolstov and Oskar Vedlin.
Luca Corsi and Oscar Lambert are next.
Followed by Vincent Kailo and Emil Forka.
George Shubilov and Austria's Marcel Kaiser are next.
Then Switzerland, Yanis Maurer, followed by Brian Trevisani from Italy.
Orpheus Tsobaridis and Ivan Chitlev round out the next row of the grid.
And at the end, Tobias Hansalik, Mariana Fedorchuk, Samarth Rao and Nathan Kroos.
The Aruban driver rounding out the field. It's early morning in Aruba. Hopefully there's as many people tuning in from the island and the Aruban sunshine as there were on Thursday for the heat races, and indeed we hope there's plenty of you watching from around the world. I know it's very early for the drivers from the United States. On-track karting in Wallingford in Connecticut. New England, that would be, well, if it's 6 hours behind local times, we're still 2 o'clock in the morning over there. That's still absolutely no excuse whatsoever to miss this.
You have great knowledge about how our globe looks like.
Well, I'm, like Doctor Who, I'm a time-traveling TARDIS. Here we go. Alexei Mukin has 83 points. Fabian Kopp has 76 points. Then it is William van Leersum with 76, Igor Polak with 67, Orestes Borgaila with 66, Siamit Vera has 65, Kristaps Tenis has 63. Alexei Mukin really has got to worry mostly about Kopp and van Leersum. Mukin won Heat 2 on Thursday. Borgaila ended up winning Heat 3, and Tennis won the opening heat. Now, looking at the point standings, Gertz Timrots here in the commentary box, Alexei Mukin, he hasn't got as much of an advantage in the junior category as Jerzyski enjoyed in the kids category, as we watch the officials here at Karting Genk lining up the drivers, walking down, and somebody has potentially missed their grid slots. Everyone now moves up onto the correct starting position. Once again, 30 drivers, 13 minutes plus 1 lap.
And 50 points on the table, even more than in kids category. We are fighting for a 50 for the first place, 46 for second. Mukin now has 7 points advantage. So to retain his lead, he has to be no lower than second place now in this race, and then in the finals, the points will be even more, almost doubled. We are ready to race. The green flag goes down, and juniors on the track. Mukin from the inside, William van Leersum following him really closely. Then from the outside comes Igor Polak and joining the race, trying to get his third place. Fabian Kopp is the only one who stays on the outside, and he's already down to fourth. There comes Burgaila and Vera and Tennis are fighting to get into the top 5, and Alexei Mukin is running away already.
What a first start from Igor Mukin, the blue race suit, white crash helmet. You saw him jumping up and down in the kart, just trying to get the rear wheels to rotate that little bit quicker, and it's given him a huge advantage. We're 4 wide into turn number 4, and everyone comes out cleanly. Van Leersum, Kopp, Polak, Burgaila, Ziemit Vera and Kristaps Tennis. This is great battling, but Igor Mukin is loving this because it is giving him such an advantage. Oh, a couple of karts there at the back there. Couldn't quite see who that was with a spin. They dropped all the way down to the back of the field. Also, we had a problem there on the opening lap as well for Aidan Galway. Galway has dropped to the back of the field. I think it might have been Ivan Kopchev who was the driver spinning.
And bad first lap for Orestes Burgaila. He's also down the order from the top 5 at the start. The first lap, there is an end of the first lap. Leaders back on the starting straight, Mukin in the front, and to second and third places working together, William van Leersum and Fabian Kopp. They are slipstreaming each other into the first corner and trying to reduce gap to Alexei Mukin. But now they start to fight each other. Mukin has the lead of 0.8 seconds.
And he's got an 11-point advantage as things stand in the championship. Van Leersum second, Kopp in third, Di Vincenzo fourth. Then it's Vera, Tennis, Mustafa, Malik Firas, Mustafa up into P7, followed by Mario Matias, Igor Polak and Oscar Lambert in the top 10. Luca Corsi getting plenty of support online from Federico Consina is there in 11th place, and Ethan Saunders, who's got plenty of support from the British fans, Stacey Ratford in the live chat also showing her support. Saunders is 12th. Kopchev and Galway at the back of the field. And where did Burgaila fall to? 21st position. But on the track, we're seeing Van Leersum and Kopp closing in on Mukin.
Van Leersum and Kopp coming to Mukin. Kristaps Tennis at the middle of the track fighting with Ziemovit Vera for the 5th place on this race. We have still 10 minutes to go and 3 leaders together on the starting straight. There is nothing left for Mukin's gap in front, and there comes William van Leersum bumper to bumper into the first corner after Mukin. Fabian Kopp following them. The 3 leading drivers now are in the one train through the second corner. Mukin in front, Van Leersum following, and Kopp third. They are going into the third corner. Mukin showing something to his rivals, maybe just try to get away, let's run away from the others, but he has already joined by 2 drivers. It will be hard to make some arrangement between 3 pilots.
Well, I think Van Leersum is trying to signal to third place driver Fabian Kopp there, probably trying to say, come on, you follow me. If I make a move, you follow me, and let's push Mukin back to third position. Behind them, Di Vincenzo and Dominic Ziemit Vera are also closing in.
And Mukin is down. Through goes William van Leersum and Fabian Kopp. They work together. Now they are through. And also Theo Di Vincenzo is passing Mukin. Mukin down to 4th place in just 2 corners.
Now let's look what this does to the point standings. The points will update themselves when they cross the line. Mukin did lead by 11 points, but he's now back into 4th position, and it's William van Leersum who takes the points lead as well as the race lead by 2 points over Mukin. So that was a critical move, and that's what we mean by it's points make prizes. Van Leersum made the move, and he made sure that Mukin lost a couple of other places, and it's given him the points lead as well as the race lead. But for how much longer? Because fighting back now, I think that's Teo Di Vincenzo in the white crash helmet up into second place.
Di Vincenzo going second. Now he's fighting with William Van Leersum at the front. Mukin still stays fourth and is joined by Zimovic Vera. Then the bigger gap till Kristaps Stennis sixth place. Here's further behind now entering Button S's, and the 5 leading cars bumper to bumper approaching Clubhouse Corner. Mukin is fourth again, showing something to the karting behind.
Now, Zimovic Vera, the last kart in this lead group, the Polish driver, he's moved up into fourth position in the point standings. He's fifth on the road, but he's 21 points behind Van Leersum. So Vera has to get aggressive. And here we go. Vera is getting aggressive. 3 wide up the inside. Can Dominic Vera, well, he's got one of the positions into B2. And we got a new leader, Teo Di Vincenzo, and Mukin fights back to second.
William Van Leersum going a little bit wide into the first corner. Now he's down to third place, and through goes Teo Di Vincenzo and Alexei Mukin with a great tactics on the starting straight. Now they are through the fourth corner and onto the Europa Land straight. There is fight for third behind Mukin with Fabian Kopp and Zimovic Vera.
Yeah, Vera moving into third position. You can see Van Leersum now in fourth place. The driver with the pink sleeves on his race suit, white crash helmet, turning round and signalling to Kopp, saying, come on, now we have to work together, because although Mukin is only second on the road, he is back in the lead of the championship. He's tied on points with Van Leersum, but because he qualified better, I think that is breaking the tiebreaker.
We have a great race. Every second lap we have a new leader on the track and new leader in point standings.
And I've got to say, we've got 6 minutes to go. These 5 karts that are battling for the race lead, they're being caught by Mario Matias, Kristaps Stennis, Malik Firas Mustafa and Oscar Lambert.
Mukin is back in the lead in a first place, followed by Teo Di Vincenzo, and third is William Van Leersum. Now there is Vera and Kopp fighting for the fourth and fifth places, and while the top 5 are fighting, Mario Matias and Kristaps Stennis are catching them from a 6th and 7th.
Now further back, 5-second penalty for Ivan Kopchev. That's dropped the Ukrainian out of the top 10 in points. Mukin, 133 points leads. He's got his head down. Di Vincenzo, the Belgian driver, who is only 6th in points, pushing him along. Now the leaders have sort of calmed down a little bit, but watch the next 2 drivers, P6 and P7. That would be Portugal's Mario Matis and Latvia's Kristaps Stennis. They're closing in as well. Stennis is 7th in points. Matis is 9th in points. Let's have a quick word about Malik Firas Mustafa. The Jordanian driver is in 8th place in the point standings. That would be the best result for Jordan in this category. But still a long way to go. 5 minutes plus a lap.
Mukin back on a starting straight. One more lap completed. Teo Di Vincenzo following him. There is a small gap between second and third. William Van Leersum still third. Di Vincenzo and Mukin start trying to work together. It's the less damage for Mukin even if he loses to Di Vincenzo, as long as he stays in front of Van Leersum.
Yeah, and Mukin is driving very sensibly. He's not defending. He's thinking, okay, do you know what, Theo? You're not a points contender right now. I'm happy to let you push me around, push me along, and sort of slipstream with me. They're all checking over their shoulders. And 5 in the lead group. Van Leersum all on his own in the middle. But they come through the Button S's single file, and you can now see the gap opening back up to 6th and 7th. I think these juniors, they realised the potential threat that was approaching, and they decide, okay, we've still got, a good few laps to go. Let's sort of tuck back in and play nice.
And we already have almost 3 drivers playing nice at the front. Mukin, De Vincenzo and Van Leersum. They are going into the final corner. One more lap completed. Bumper to bumper out of the corner. And there is De Vincenzo trying to get side by side with Mukin. And now is joined by William Van Leersum. Leersum goes through as Vincenzo losing slipstream and falling back 1, 2, even 3 positions. And he is down. Alexei Mukin up to first. William Van Leersum and Zimovit Vera and Fabian Kopp joining 1 position up in this fight through the starting straight.
Ziomit Vera, last year, Ziomit finished, I'm just checking my 4th in this category last year, so he knows how to get things done here in the Saudi World Series. Further back, side by side for 6th position, that was Kristaps Tennis trying to pass Mario Matias. Outside, we got then Mustafa and Lambert 8th and 9th. Polak is 10th, followed by Corsi, Saunders, Maura, Kayod, Trevisani, Neil Galvis, Tolstov, Forka, Kaiser, Chitlev, Sobanidis, Shumilov, Galway, Nathan Kroos in 24th. Then it's Vedlin, Rao, Hanzalik, Fedorchuk, Kopchev and Burgaila. It's been a terrible race for the Lithuanian. Orestas Burgaila, he is down in last position.
William Van Leersum following Mukin into the final corner. Will we see again a fight on the starting straight? Top 5 drivers in 1 train out on the straight. No one is risking to go out of the slipstream, and as a train they go down in the first corner.
And they stay Singapore. This is the beauty of having these longer races. We've had periods of all-out action. Now we've got some really tactical, smart driving as well. But you know that as the clock continues to tick towards zeros, it's going to be gloves off, elbows out, and all going for the victory.
We have less than 3 laps till the finish in this race, and 1.5 minutes plus 1 lap. In the next lap the clock will hit 0, and now through the button complex goes 5 leading drivers: Mukin, William Van Leersum, Vera, Kopp and De Vincenzo. Matthias and Tennis a little bit further down, fighting themselves for 6th and 7th. They were trying to join the leading group, but was not fast enough.
Yeah, and that's because the 5 leaders suddenly realise, I've got more chance of winning this race if there's only 5 of us in the battle.
We don't need bigger company.
We don't need more company. No, the guest list is full. Thank you very much. No standing room only. The doors are closed. Look at Van Leersum. Look at him looking over his shoulder, saying, "Come on, Ziomit, push me," and Ziomit responds, and we have a new leader. It's William Van Leersum, or is it? No, Ziomit Vera.
He was pushing hard. He did what William Van Leersum wanted, but William Van Leersum somehow lost to him. Now Mukin is back to 2nd place, even staying wide outside in the first corner. Now he is approaching the 4th corner, still outside of William Van Leersum, and the fight for 2nd continues.
The clock is ticking towards 0. 10 seconds to go. 3 wide. Van Leersum trying to chase down the 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Where is the lead? No, this is for the lead. Van Leersum takes the lead. Oh no, sorry, it's Vera. Van Leersum 2nd, and suddenly Mukin finds himself pushed back to 5th, and now Matthias and Tennis close in. We have got that bigger battle, and Ziomit Vera has just clearing off.
William Van Leersum going full throttle through the Europa Land straight, just looking back and showing something with his hand, just communicating full throttle and don't watching the track. He is still in a 2nd. Zimovit Vera is leading. Van Leersum getting big gap behind him, and Mukin now is out of top 5.
Incredible. That's what happens, Igor Mukin, when you drag the leader into a battle. You've got lots of hungry drivers as we cross the line to start the final lap. It's a tie in the point standings between Mukin and Van Leersum on 122. We'll worry about that now on track.
Alexei Mukin behind Mario Matias. Matias got this position in the penultimate lap. They are still fighting through the fourth corner now and onto the Europa Land straight. Vera and Van Leersam are far away already. There's one thing that is left for Mukin, that is fight for third place, no more.
Mukin makes a move going into the button chicane there, moves into fourth position. He's got 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th right behind him. I think that even could be Oscar Lambert and Firas Malik Mustafa joining the party. Lambert with a yellow flex on his race suit picks up a couple of positions. There's Tio Vincenzo looking over his shoulder, but up at the front, the leaders are already coming down towards turn number 10. Can William Van Leersum do anything about Vera, who starts to defend? It's going to be another drag race to the line, Gertz.
And it's slow out of the last corner. Vera side by side with William Van Leersum, and in the last centimeters of this race, William Van Leersum goes through and he has won by 300ths of a second. That's half a meter, not more.
So two races, and neither race have been decided by more than 1/10 of a second. Incredible. And with that move, on the run to the checkered flag, William Van Leersum takes the points lead by 2 over Alexei Mukin, who finishes 4th. We'll run through the point standings in a minute, but as they finish, it was Van Leersum and Vera, Di Vincenzo and Mukin in 4th, Fabian Kopp 5th, then Matthias Lambert, Firas Mustafa, Corsi and Tennis your top 10. And that means that with one race to go, it's William Van Leersum 126 points, Alexei Mukin 124, Fabian Kopp 116, and with that second place, Ziomit Vera moves himself into contention. He started this race 6th in points, he finishes it 4th in points. 15 points separate the top 4 with Igor Polak 5th. Great race. Further down the order, Saunders 11th, Polak 12th, Maurer 13th, Kayo and Trevisani round out your top 15, followed by Emil Forka, Marcel Kaiser, Edgar Leo Galvis, Boris Toltsov, Ivan Chitlev, Aidan Gorway, Orefas Tobanidis, Ivan Kopchev, Tobias Hanzalik, Oscar Vedlin, Georgi Shumilov, Samarth Rao, Mariana Fedorchuk, Nathan Krois and Orestas Borgaila.
And maybe even more important than those 2 points which Van Leersum got overtaking Zemovit Vera, now he will start in pole position alongside Mukin, but William Van Leersum will be on the inside line.
We hope you're enjoying this 13 minutes highlights package from that race. The moves came thick and fast, and that was the first time that Mukin lost ground. He ran wide. Van Leersum didn't force him wide.
Actually, he did not lose ground. He did not find company. He was trying to communicate with whoever was behind him. Let's work together. Let's try to run away. And no one was listening to him. They were just fighting for a position.
Well, of course, that's what the older drivers will do. They don't want to work with the leader. They want to force the points leader back as far as they can go.
And if you are in front of the points, do not expect someone cooperating with you.
Exactly. You are the marked man, so to speak. You're the one with the big target on your rear bumper. But Vera at this point was 3rd, and look at this, Vera up the inside. I think this is where he he stays 3rd here, but Ziomit Vera using his patience really well. Here he comes. Now he helps Van Leersum past Mukin. Look, he's pushing Van Leersum past Mukin. He looks over and almost
and
like
here
says,
he
hello.
dives inside in the very last moment before the first corner goes just in.
And Tio Di Vincenzo helping him out there, because as soon as he took the lead, suddenly they're 3 wide for second, and that helps Ziomit Vera pull away. But look at that, bumper to bumper to bumper. And here's Fabian Kopp jumping up and down in the seat. He's like pogo karting.
What a race delivered by juniors here in Saudi World Series International Finals. Those are super heats. We have almost twice as points as in a heat day before yesterday, and we will have even more points in the finals.
So, well, can we rely on the Masters to be any more calmer than that?
Do we need that?
No, they're not gonna be calmer because the point situation in Masters, which we'll take you through, is even closer between the two drivers on the front row of the grid. And while we wait, the next class will be the Masters Sprint Cup. Here we go then, 30 more drivers, and keep your comments coming in. Here we are. Jeffrey Galichet will start from pole position in kart number 6 alongside his fellow Frenchman, Michael Ubermoulin.
USA on the second row, Thomas Burchard, and Switzerland's Olivier Laurenson.
Both those drivers raced in the senior category last year. This is the very first Masters Cup category we've ever had. On row number 3, Joel Faure and Olivier Bruno, and I might add, this class is for drivers over the age of 40.
Italians, row number 4, Stefano Lilli and Stefano Baraldi.
Philippe Deneuze and Yves Meche on row number 5. Deneuze, the leading Belgian in the field.
Then Stefan Boisseri and Brice Nguessan.
Alexander Batrichin and Médéric Bitouze are next.
Karim El Guelta and Federico Duregon on P16.
On row number 9, we have Portugal's Gustavo Zimmermann Martins and France's Julien Bezenghi.
Followed by David Tovan and Aurelien Derison.
Germany and Finland are next up with Manuel Kuzrok and Tero Makinen.
Then Jérôme Houet and Mario Volpe.
Roberto Marchi from Italy and Brazil's Carlos Andre Augusto are next.
At the end of the grid, Jan Tika, Adam Ibarra, Oleg Fedoseyev, and Jonathan C. Jeffrey.
Yeah, JJ, as he is known to his friends, has been living in Aruba for 30 years
What
now.
does it mean, C, between name and surname?
Well, that's his middle name, Jonathan Charles Jeffrey. But everyone calls him JJ. And I believe we're going to have 2 rolling laps. Now, is that just because the Masters take a little bit longer to wake up in the morning and to help scrub the tyres in a little bit? They've changed the tyres, so all these karts are on brand new tyres, and thank you to our colleagues at WFR Live TV for giving us that information. So, race director Manuel Branco, he wants to get a bit of heat into the tyres.
We already have had new tires on the Thursday.
Nothing like a fresh pair of bones to get finals day started. And I think that's so that if every kart has brand new tyres, then nobody complain, oh, my kart wasn't as quick because the tyres were old. It's a level playing field once again for everybody. Now,
But we do not see some aggressive moves or trying to warm their up. They are just driving their laps. Oh, here, after the top 3, there are guys working, but...
believe it or not, weaving on the warm-up lap in karting is not allowed.
So, the half of the field is doing that.
No. They're just checking their steering. They've got to turn left to check their steering, then right again to check their steering. That's how
check where the track ends.
Oh yes, there's let's look at the outsides of the track. Yeah, the white lines are still painted nicely. Point standings, ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Galichet and Michael Ubermoulin lead the points. 85 points for Galichet, 84 points for Ubermühlen. Thomas Burchard from America has 76 points and Olivier Laurencon on 75. Jean Foray 74, Olivier Bruno 68, Stefano Lelli, the general, is on 66 points, and hello to Filippo Laghi, a multiple Italian karting champion. He'll be cheering on Stefano Lelli and Stefano Baraldi, who start on the 4th row of the grid.
And considering what we have seen in the previous races this morning, we can be almost certain there will be new points leader after this race.
There could be, well, after what we've seen after this race, after each corner, there's almost a new points leader. But here we go.
Back on the grid, old master category drivers Geoffrey Galichet on pole position and Michael Ubermühlen right beside him. Thomas Burchard and Olivier Laurencon on the 2nd row. Then Foray and Bruno, almost everyone are in their starting positions.
13 minutes plus 1 lap, 30 drivers, and we wait to be given the signal. The officials lead the side of the circuit. Green flag goes up, green flag drops, and we are off and racing.
Ubermühlen just a little bit in front of Galichet. They are going into the first corner. Outside line for Ubermühlen, and that's the line where he is losing. Galichet still stays in front. There comes Thomas Burchard, USA, fighting for the 2nd place on the track right now, and Ubermühlen and Burchard fighting for 2nd right after Geoffrey Galichet now into turn 4 and on Europa Land straight.
A couple of drivers in the middle of the pack. They're running wide coming out of turn number 2, including the driver in the red race suit and the black crash helmet, who's now trying to fight his way back up through the order. Down the back straight we go. The leaders, though, safely through the Button complex.
Still leading Geoffrey Galichet, but right behind him Ubermühlen, Burchard, Laurencon and Foray. Also whole 10 go-karts in 1 row approaching Clubhouse corner.
I've got to say, Thomas Burchard, who lives in the Czech Republic, he's the only American surrounded by a bunch of French, and I can imagine saying, okay, France, I know you gave us the Statue of Liberty, but I'm going to take this one back.
They are into the final corner of the first lap. Out on the starting straight, Geoffrey Galichet through the finish line, and he's down to 3rd place. Michael Ubermühlen is leading now. Galichet trying to fight back in the inside of the 4th corner. At the 2nd, he's outside, fighting with Ubermühlen and Burchard. Burchard goes 3rd. Galichet back up to 2nd.
And that move could be critical because Ubermühlen has opened up a 6-point lead in the point standings. Ubermühlen with a white crash helmet, Galichet with the French tricolour across the top of his crash helmet. Burchard now in the middle and getting swamped by the likes of Laurencon, Foray and Mieke as they head down the Europa Plan straight into the Button chicane. Ooh, and Burchard just shaves the tyre barriers.
They go through the central part of the track. 2 leaders pulling a little bit away from everyone else after a fight on the back straight. The 3rd position is falling back a little bit. Can Geoffrey Galichet regain his point lead in this race? We still have more than 10 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Leaders into the last corner of the 2nd lap. Only 2nd lap of this race. Out on the starting straight, they're going bumper to bumper, slipstreaming each other. Ubermühlen and Galichet now trying to run away from everyone else. Laurencon is 3rd, Foray 4th, Yves Mieke is 5th, Olivier Bruno in P6, and Thomas Burchard down to P8.
Aurélien Derisson gets a penalty, 5 seconds obviously for a misdemeanor. Look down the order, all 30 drivers still running. Ubermühlen, Galichet, Laurencon now your top 3.
Faure overtaking Laurent Kohn at the back straight in the third lap of this race. Two leaders still trying to run away from the pack. There is a fight for third, and more they fight, more they fall back from Ubermoulin and Galichet. Two leaders on the track, two leaders in the point standings. It seems they are working together just to leave the title to them too, and not anyone else.
And because they're so close in points, you can understand why Jeffrey Galichet is preferring to work with Michael Ubermoulin, because yes, they're both pulling away from the rest of the field, and at the moment it would be Ubermoulin on 134, Galichet on 131, everyone else on 118 points or less.
And Laurent Kohn and Faure fighting again, swapping positions on the straight into the first corner, and now third and fourth places are still fighting with each other and not closing the gap to leaders. Ubermoulin and Galichet running away.
There you look at on your screens, the battle for third place, Laurent Kohn and Faure. Trying to see who is that in the orange and black race suit. That is Faure, I believe, who's passed Laurent Kohn. We'll have to see if that's the number 2 kart in third position. Ubermoulin and Galichet happy to run with a couple of kart lengths between them, not defending, and it is now the number 2 kart of Faure there in third position, followed by Laurent Kohn, Bruno, Burchard, Lely, Meche, Boissier, Zimmermans Martins, Baraldi, Bartrician, Denus, Durijon and Bezenghi, your top 15.
And two leaders on the straight again, working together, slipstreaming and pushing, bumper to bumper. Ubermoulin and Galichet still more than 1 second in front of everyone. There comes Joël Faure, now third and running away from Olivier Laurenson. Thomas Burchard is back up to fifth.
I know, Thomas Burchard, maybe he's got a bit of a hangover after celebrating his dog's 11th birthday the other night. Very important anniversary.
What information do you have in your head?
Well,
I just wonder.
Well, you
amazing, Henry, amazing.
I disappear, I spend a lot of time walking around the paddock. Any paddock pooch is good by me.
It takes some time for me to count how old are my kids, and you know how old is his dog.
Well, you know, you got to find a good paddock pooch. You never know when information like that might come in useful. Now, new fastest lap. Here's some useful information. New fastest lap, Joël Faure, third position. I got a feeling Ubermoulin and Galichet will not have things all their own way for much longer.
We have 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap left. Ubermoulin and Galichet, 0.2 seconds between them. They are working together now. Close line in the first corner for Ubermoulin, trying to defend Galichet. Maybe Galichet even wasn't thinking about overtaking him, but it seemed for Ubermoulin like it is. And now they lose at least 1/10 to Joël Faure. Faure now is running alone in third. Can he catch the leaders? He is out of the slipstream now and still needs at least second to be there and fight for top place or second.
Now, of course, Joël Faure, third on the road, is also third in the point standings. He has passed Thomas Burchard and Olivier Laurencon in the points. He's on 117 points. He desperately needs to catch and then pass both Ubermoulin and Galichet as quickly as he can to minimize his points deficits going into the final. Laurencon, Burchard, Lely, Boissier, Bruno, and a penalty for Gustavo Zimmermans Martins in kart number 3. That drops Gustavo out of the top 10.
New lap record in a previous lap for Joel Fauré, but this lap he is 1/10 slower and is 1.2 behind Galichet. The gap has increased just as soon as Ubermoulin and Galichet do not fight each other. They are starting to pull away. The only hope for Joel Fauré is that the leaders will start to fight.
Yes, and they're showing no signs of doing that at the moment. In fact, you can see Galichet just resting the nose cone of his kart on the rear bumper of Ubermoulin as they come through the button chicane, and we haven't seen Ubermoulin look over his shoulder. Now Galichet takes a slightly different line into the 180-degree corner, but no defensive driving from Ubermoulin on this lap. They are pulling away a little bit more from Fauré, who hunches down. We're looking at the midfield runners going through the clubhouse corner, but there are your leaders now onto the straight, and you can see Ubermoulin not driving defensively. A quick check over his shoulder, and the gap is 1.5 seconds back to Fauré.
One more tenth lost to Fauré, one more tenth to the gap between second and third. We still have almost 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Ubermoulin and Galichet leading, waiting and pushing each other forward, waiting who will start defend, who will start to fight for position. There are a lot of points on the table through the back straight. Galichet right on the rear bumper of Ubermoulin and not trying to overtake yet.
Not yet. More penalties being dished out further back in the field for driving offences. Alexander Patrician getting a 5-second penalty. So also for Roberto Marchi. 15 seconds for driver number 9, Aurélien de Risson. Now that's only 2 penalties. He had a 5 second, then a 10 second.
He has to be done something terrible.
Yeah, and he still hasn't broken Ian Fernandez's record of 3 penalties in one race, and we certainly hope that record is not broken today.
2 more tenths between second and third. Ubermoulin and Galichet. Great work together to count Joel Fauré out of this equation, and we will see, will they succeed in that? 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
Yeah, now this is smart driving, whereas we saw in the kids' race when Lukas Jerizek has a big points lead, and we thought, well, Victor Nikolov has to try and drag him into a scrap. Both Galichet and Ubermoulin, they don't want to be in a scrap. It doesn't matter who finishes first or second. If the way things are looking between Ubermoulin and Galichet, whoever finishes in front of the other in the main event could be our champion, should be our champion, because they are pushing away and effectively they are eliminating. And of course, they could have an accident, they could fail to finish the final, which would be game over for either of them. But this is smart, very, very smart indeed by Ubermoulin and Galichet. Behind Joel Fauré, we'll see now on the start-finish straight, there's a big gap back to the 4th place battle, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is about 24 karts deep, and it's Thomas Bouchard who has to make, America makes big cars, but Bouchard is going to have to make that like a big Cadillac Coupe de Ville to stop the train of cars behind him. Laurent Con, De Réjon, Bossier, Deneuze and Meche. He's got he's got half of France. The only Frenchmen that aren't celebrating the football are in this race, chasing down Team USA's Thomas Bouchard.
Bouchard now is running away. There is a fight behind him between Laurenson and Duragon. They are fighting for 5th, and that allows Bouchard to pull away a little bit. They were 3 together, and now he's alone, followed by all 3 of the other cars.
Yeah, Bouchard is trying to, make like a shepherd and get the flock out of here. Here we go into turn number 10. It's going to be Ubermulin, followed by Galichet once again. Now, Galichet is not just sitting there. They start not their final lap. Two to go. Galichet is looking and he's testing the waters. He's just seeing where Ubermulin might be a little bit vulnerable.
Ubermulin already starting to test the waters. He was on the middle of the track before second corner. Now they are out on the back straight, out of the fourth corner, and still Geoffrey Galichet stays behind. The whole straight is looking back. Michael Ubermulin. They are going bumper to bumper into button S's, side by side at the tire balls, and still two leaders when the fight will begin. And inside goes Geoffrey Galichet. He goes through at 180s, but there is still 1.5 laps to go. There is a lot of work to do for Michael Ubermulin. He still is able to get his position back. Now they are going into the final corner. Ubermulin takes outside line. Can he switch to inside before exiting on the starting straight? They are back on the straight with now Geoffrey Galichet leading and Michael Ubermulin second. This is the last lap of the race.
And in just that one lap, Joel Foray has gained 0.7 of a second on the leaders. They're side by side coming out of turn number one. Galichet on the inside, Ubermulin on the outside. Ubermulin in the white crash helmet, blue and white race suit. We'll have a little look, but here comes Joel Foray in third. Galichet is going to have to stand on the anchors to stop Ubermulin getting the undercut down the Europa Plan straight. Ubermulin on the inside, but Galichet has a fraction more momentum.
At the last moment, Ubermulin goes back in the slipstream, now into button S's. One more defensive move from Galichet, and inside goes Ubermulin. He goes through before the 180 degrees corner, and back again to the inside goes Geoffrey Galichet, and this is time for Joel Foray. He has joined the party. He's at the outside before the clubhouse corner. Two leaders still fighting in the next corner. Inside for Galichet, outside for Ubermulin. Ubermulin in the inside of the final corner. Three go-karts together side by side. It's Ubermulin who gets out of the final corner fastest, but Galichet is closing in. They are over the finish line with Ubermulin taking the win by 0.05 of a second, and 4/10 down is Joel Foray.
Wow, and I have to say, whereas we've seen
it was worth waiting for the final two laps.
Absolutely, but as we saw in the first two races, fist bumps going on after the race between the leaders who were battling. There was not quite as much love being shown there between Galichet and Ubermulin. Maybe Geoffrey Galichet feeling somewhat aggrieved, but hey, that was a good, hard, fair race throughout.
Is there love or not? These relations will continue in the final.
Exactly. It's important to keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, and they couldn't get any closer than that. And we've now had three races. This race decided by 0.05 of a second. We have not had one race decided by more than 1/10 of a second. Ubermulin from Galichet and Foray. 0.4 of a second cover the top three. There is Olivier Laurenchon, Stephanie Boissière, Federico de Rejon, Julian Bazenghi, David Tolvan, Thomas Burchard, and Yves Meche, your top 10. Followed by Olivier Bruno, Karim El Guelta, Stefano Baraldi, Stefano Lelli, and Gustavo Timmermans. Here's a look back at the highlights.
At the start of the race, Ubermulin and Galichet working together, trying to run away in what they really succeeded. There was Joel Foray able to pull away from the rest of the pack, but he was in the middle of the big gap between second and fourth and was unable to close as long as Ubermulin and Galichet were working together. And at the penultimate lap was the first time Geoffrey Galichet started to fight with Ubermulin. Almost 2 laps long fight ended with Joël Porret joining them at the end of the lap. Here started the war.
Yes, and so that was Galichet up the inside of Ubermoulin and giving Ubermoulin just a little bit of a hip check as he goes through. And I think Ubermoulin may have returned a favour on the last lap. Yes, I think this is where Ubermoulin gets to the inside and Galichet comes across, and we have a hip check. Ooh, Galichet on the inside, and now Faure at this point's got a great
He
run.
turned too sharp to the inside. Should he go slightly further out of the corner?
Here we go, hip check number 2. Over the curbs goes Galichet. Well, we'll wait there now as they cross the line. Geoffrey Galichet.
Out of the corner on the outside of the track, side by side, Galichet going through, and there are only few hundreds, and Galichet is second.
And, oh yes, the French gesticulation there, that's very Gallic, I have to say. But shake of the head, but that's racing. And let's have a little look. Remy Loth getting some support from Nelson Desplat. And what was this there? The gross error de commissaire de course qui announced the dernier tour. Ooh, maybe there was a slight issue between calling 2 laps to go or 1 lap to go that Galichet was somewhat peeved by. However, it does mean that Michael Ubermoulin leads by 3 points with 1 race to go in Masters. Galichet on 131 points, Ubermoulin 134, Faure on 117, Laurencon 116, Burchard 112, and Olivier Bruno on 106. A big hello to Boris Bouvier watching. Bouvier playing a starring role in yesterday's 12-hour endurance race, and we can will remind you that it was PF Racing from Germany defending their endurance title over the Infinity team from Italy. I think Bouvier part of that team, and then in third position the Belgians have a race. But we are going to take a commercial break. Mwah.
Envie de capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
Welcome back everyone here in Karting Genk for Saudi World Series International Finals. We are preparing for a superheat for women class. There is Louise Brown now checking with the Saudi officials. She has got pole position in this superheat just last race before the finals begins. Louise Brown and Debbie Wolves on the first row on the grid. Go-kart number 10 and number 2 on our screens right now. And here is starting grid. We are waiting for ladies to arrive here for their final fight. Before the final fight, we have a super heat with almost double of the points available now, and in the finals there will be more points and bigger gaps between each position at the finish of the race. So who will win this race, this year's Saudi World Series International Finals in women category?
Yes, indeed. This is the third year of the women's category that I can recall. We've got the defending champion, Abby Sanders. In fact, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 in last year's event. And even we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the top 10 from the 2022 event. So really the best of the best. Now you'll have to excuse me. There is a certain amount of discussion going on in the live chat, all of it in French, which I cannot translate. So I do apologise to Nelson Deplas, Stefan Valhalla, if I'm not sort of following up on what you're saying, but my French is no. Right, the ladies, the women points standings after the...
As long as we have hearts and thumbs up in those comments, it
That's
seems
fine,
everything
that's
is
fine.
okay.
It's when we get bad emojis that I get upset. No bad emojis. I have to say, I've got to say there was a couple of comments I noticed about the carts being not equal, and I'm thinking to myself, are you watching the same race that we're watching? The carts, the lap times have been incredibly equal.
Just a default comments.
Yes, yeah.
They always are there.
Yes. Obviously, people upset they didn't qualify, I would imagine. Nothing like a bit of bitter with your lemon. How's that?
We have brand new carts, tires,
New
and the
engines.
carts are allocated randomly each time the driver is getting in.
Yes, indeed. And again, you're seeing, it's not now, the two carts at the front of the grid, they were not the two carts that finished first and second in the previous race.
And they are not the two carts who were wearing number 10 and number 2 before. No,
absolutely not. It's very, very different, completely at random. So anyone who is here we go. Thank you, Nelson. He is supporting Louise Brown, one of the best drivers in the world, men included. I would say that is not an incorrect comment because Louise Brown's lap times, and indeed a lot of the lap times put in by the women, would put them well up the Sprint Cup grid. But here we go, out onto the circuit. Your starting lineup is as follows. Pole position on home soil. She's even got her lucky white race suit on. Louise Brown. In kart 10, Debbie Wolfs from the Netherlands on the outside of row 1.
On the second row, Sarai Garcia and Carla Fade.
Then it is Alonia Palchik and reigning champion Abby Sanders.
Nicole Protivova and Ginevra Negrini on row 4.
And the top 10 rounded out by Leah Tajnika and Vanessa Lariu.
Then comes Elena Buleto and Margot Biel.
Biel with the Ayrton Senna crash helmet. Then it is Lale Zepeño and Rosanna Marziano.
Julia Milk from Germany and Marjolaine Martens.
Followed by Ukraine's Anzilka Lemko and Latvia's Elizabeth Schulze.
19th and 20th on the grid, Lisa Fischer and Aliona Nikolaeva.
Klara Madiratsa from Croatia and Eve Theo are next.
Then followed by Carole Bourgeois and Héloïse Joubert.
Audrey Vinals and Caroline Leboutil are next, the Boutil from Canada.
And at the end of the grid, Evelina Montiu from Moldova, Melina Koenig from Germany, and on the last row, Lawrence Benoit and Emma Klikachova.
Emma Klikachova, the Slovakian driver at the back of the pack. Although I had a chat with Emma, and I believe it was her dad. They're having a great time. They know that the driving hasn't been the best, but they're enjoying the experience and they're enjoying the sunshine as we head out on the rolling lap. The points standings: Louise Brown 90 points, Debbie Wolfs 87 points, Sarai Garcia 81 points, Carla Fade is in fourth with 80 points, then Aliona Palchuk on 74 and Abby Sanders on 71. We've already seen that Maximilian Sovic's Kids Cup title is slipping through his grasp. This is the most important race of all for Abby Sanders, is she cannot allow Brown and Wolfs to pull clear. The young driver representing Daytona Tamworth in the UK, she starts on the outside of row one. She's got a black race suit and a sort of pink and black crash helmet. She has to start taking points off Wolfs and Brown.
The ladies are back on the starting grid. We're just about to start the next race in Superheats today. Day before yesterday, the wetter was the track the further away pulled Louise Brown. Now the sun is shining, the track is dry. Can she maintain the same distance behind her as before? Now, will we see the same scenario as in previous race when two leaders working together and leaving the title be decided in the final between them and not allowing anyone to join the party? The green flag goes down. Louise Brown is fast already from the starting grid. Sarai Garcia going to the inside, following the leader. Debbie Wolf stays outside. Garcia now is pushed wide into the first corner. At the exit, she is on the inside before the second and maintains her second position. But Louise Brown is driving away already.
This is the perfect start for the local ace, Louise Brown, looking for redemption after losing victory last year in the final couple of corners. 3 wide through turn number 4, all 30 drivers safely through the first couple of corners. Brown with a 10 kart length lead over Sarai Garcia, with Debbie Wolfs battling for third and everybody else following on behind as they round the button S's. One driver in the tyre barriers at the exit of Button. We'll get a name check on that driver next time around, but Brown is doing what she needs to do.
It's Elena Boleto. She's in the barriers, now back on the track, pushing her cart back and rejoining the race, but half a lap down from everybody else.
But you get points for finishing last as long as you finish. You get 0 points for failing to finish. At the end of lap 1, Brown leads by 1.3 seconds over Garcia. Wolfs, Fade,
Wolf goes through in front of Garcia and now is driving second. Up to second place for Debbie Wolfs, now 3 pilots working together to catch Louise Brown. She's alone there in the front.
Yes, Sarai Garcia and Carla Fade. Fade has finished on the top in the top 3 the last 2 years. 3rd in Slovakia, 3rd in Paris. 3rd in 2022. Here we go. Up into the 180 degrees. There on your screen, 2nd, 3rd and 4th working together. There is a gap back to Vanessa Lariu and Abby Sanders in 5th and 6th. They are followed by Palchik, Negrini, Protivova and Beal. Rounds out your top 10.
Last corner, the next lap, Louise Brown still leading. She got 1.3 seconds after the first lap. Now there is no cooperation between Wolves, Garcia and Fade. They are fighting for their positions. Still 1.1 advantage for Louise Brown. Debbie Wolves second, Sarai Garcia third, Carla Fade fourth.
And I could just see there, well, the Ayrton Senna crash helmet and Margot Beale was, well, what was it, Ayrton Senna's, if you see a gap and no longer go for it, you are no longer a racing driver. Beale saw half a gap and went for it, and I think she might have got away with it.
And into the Buttonesses, the leaders are going through, pulling away from the pack. There is a hard fight for a 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places. There are coming Vanessa Lario, Abby Sanders, Aleona Palchik and Nicole Protivova. Back to the clubhouse, coming Louise Brown, just about a second in front of Debbie Wolves. Sarai Garcia and Carla Fade now left a little bit behind, trying to catch Wolves. And can they catch Louise Brown if they are not working together?
Great battling further down the order. You can see this whole clump of carts heading into turn number 10. Meanwhile, there are your top four. Abby Sanders now into 5th, but Sanders has got a big gap to break down. She's 2.5 seconds behind Garcia in 4th. But with 4 cars, well, Louise Brown's lead, Debbie Wolves has got it down from 1.4 seconds to 1 second, with Fade and Garcia behind. But if you look there, you can see that Garcia and Fade, they're not right behind Debbie Wolves. They can't work with her, use that slipstream. Wolves is going to have to do it all on her own.
And it seems that she is succeeding now. She already cut by 1/10. Gap to Louise Brown in a previous lap. There is no slipstream, no pushing from behind. No one is cooperating here in top 4. They are fighting alone. And Louise Brown followed by Debbie Wolves. They are into the final corner of this lap, back on the starting straight, and we will see new gap between the leaders. 1.0 seconds between Louise Brown and Debbie Wolves. A lap ago, now they are going over the finish line once again, and 0.7. Debbie Wolves is just faster and is closing on leader.
And she sets a new fastest lap, but look at the rest of the field coming across the start-finish line. It's a 1 minute 14.65 for Wolves. Wolves has honed in on her prey and is hunting down the Belgian who leads this race.
They are on Europa Plan straight now. Debbie Wolves 0.7 at the beginning of the lap. Now even closer, entering the button S's. At this pace, one more lap and Wolves will be in slipstream behind Louise Brown. We still have 7 minutes to go in this race.
At the moment, Louise Brown will have 140 points. Debbie Wolves would be on 133. Carla Fade on 123. Abby Sanders on 111. Sarai Garcia on 122. It looks like it's developing into a head-to-head scrap between the two ladies who disputed victory last year, and it didn't always end with a hug and a kiss. It certainly was it's a fierce rivalry between the two drivers from the Low Countries, Belgium versus the Netherlands, and Wolves has caught Louise Brown. They come out of turn number 2, and there was that a little look over the shoulder from Louise Brown. Debbie Wolves can almost reach over and tickle her under the chin, she's so close.
Louise Brown still leading. Will Debbie Wolves now try to follow her, push her forward to avoid anyone else join this fight? Now they are 2 together at the front. Debbie Wolves with a couple of very fast laps now is right behind the leader. Will they fight? Will they work together? There is a plenty of time left, almost 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Louise Brown from the middle of the track into the clubhouse corner. The next corner, they are bumper to bumper, approaching the end of the next lap. Still 5.5 minutes to go. Wolves right behind Brown. There are 4 points difference between first and second, and if Debbie Wolves manages to go in front, she will cut Louise Brown's lead in overall standings by half.
Well, I just saw Debbie Wolf sort of run up behind Louise Brown and just give her a little bit of a helping hand down the straight. I was about to say I would think that Debbie Wolf would want to get stuck into a battle as soon as she possibly could, because she would want to try and have as much of a cushion in points over Louise Brown. Brown has been the most consistent and overall the fastest here at home circuit. Wolves will be aware of that, and she'll want to try and drag Louise Brown into an all-out war.
But there is not a big cushion between second and third. Carla Fade is only 1.4 seconds further back in third. As soon as Brown and Voss will start to fight, they will lose this gap, and Carla Fade will be there. And just 1 second later comes Sarai Garcia in fourth. Entering final corner, still 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Wolves and Brown onto the starting straight. Brown in front, Wolves following in the slipstream, pushing forward. They are trying to run away now. When the battle will begin?
Certainly it will begin at some point. Fade in third, Garcia in fourth, then a huge gap back to new 5th place driver Nicole Protivova has passed Abby Sanders, but they're 5 seconds now behind Sarai Garcia, Vanessa Lariu, Leah Tajnikar, Margot Beal, Marjolaine Martin round out your top 10, followed by Zapeno, Palchik, Negrini, Schulze, Fischer, Lemko, Milk, Madirazza, Nikolaeva, Teo, Joubert, Vinals, Bourgeois, Marziano, Leboutil, Manchu, Koenig, Klikachova, Benoist and Bolitot.
Still working together at the Europa Land Straight. Wolves a couple of times pushed forward. Louise Brown's bumper. They are trying to run away still at this point in the race. 3 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Wolves looks back before final corner how far Carla Fade is. They are on the starting straight again, bumper to bumper going through. Brown leading, Wolves second, and Carla Fade over the finish line, 2.3 seconds. They have almost doubled the gap to third place. It will begin really soon. They have a comfortable cushion behind with a 2.3 seconds. They have 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
But we remember back to the previous race. Mikhail Ubermulin and Geoffrey Galichet had a 1.8 second lead over Joel Foray with 2 laps to go, and Foray closed up that gap when the leaders started battling within a lap.
They started battling in penultimate lap of the race, 1.5 before the finish. We still have more than 2 laps to go, 2 minutes plus 1. They are in the inside part of the track, going through 180, approaching Clubhouse. Brown leading, Wolf second, and Carla Fade more than 2 seconds behind. Still very patient drive from Debbie Wolf. She is staying second, and now without any attempt to overtake Louise Brown in the front. 1 more lap completed, less than 2 minutes till the end of this time, and then plus 1 lap. We still have 3 laps to go in this race, and Debbie Wolf still working to make a gap before third place bigger and bigger.
Here we go then through turn number 1. Into turn number 2, still Louise Brown does not take the defensive line. Out of 2, through 3, Debbie Wolf sitting on Brown's rear bumper, just watching, waiting for the right time to pounce. Wolfs tucks down behind the NASA panel, gives Louise Brown just a little love tap of support down the Europa Plan straights through the Button Complex. We are inside the final minutes of this race. Next time they will come to Le Dernier Tour. The final lap, well, no, maybe not. I think we might have 2 laps to go.
Now we're into the final minute, 40 seconds left. They are through the clubhouse, now into the final quarters of the lap. Debbie Wolf still close behind Louise Brown. They are increasing gap to Carla Fade. Now onto the starting straight, 2 laps before the finish line, 20 seconds, then this lap plus 1, and it's time to start the fight. Brown already goes defensive at the entry of the first corner. There comes Debbie Wolves crashing in their bumper, and they are still fighting on 3.7 seconds was between them and Carla Fade. They have biggest gap we have seen before anyone can join this fight.
Yes, indeed. Wolves tries to get a tight exit coming out of turn number 4. Brown moving to the middle of the track down the Europa Plan straight just to stop Debbie Wolves thinking about a move going into the button chicane. Now we come out of the button chicane through the right into the 180 degrees. No, Wolves had a little peek and then fell back into line. The gap back to Fade is not shrinking. This is going to be a head-to-head scrap between the two ladies who went toe-to-toe last year. They've gone toe-to-toe this year. Into the final corner, they will see the 1 lap to go signal. Now it's game on.
Louise Brown, the whole straight, looking back. Will Debbie Wolves move or not? Will she go inside? And she goes! In the first corner, there is a small crash between them and Debbie Wolves. At the start of final lap, goes through. Now she's the one looking back. What will do Debbie Wolves? There is a 4th corner in front of them and a long Europa Land straight. Debbie Wolves leading, Louise Brown right behind. She can fight back. There is less than 1 lap till the checkered flag will be out. The whole straight, looking over her shoulder, Debbie Wolves into the button chicanes. Now Wolves in front. Brown following, trying to find her line to get past. 1 lap before the finish, Debbie Wolves made a move and now is leading the race out of the 180s. The Wolves going very defensive before the clubhouse corner. Brown from the outside taking faster line, approaching next corner, still stays outside Brown. Wolves looking back before the final corner. They are going in just a few meters before the finish line. To the outside goes Wolves from the inside. Brown side by side. They are over finish line and it's Debbie Wolves
by 0.06 of a second. Incredible. If you add together the winning margins of the first 4 races, if you add them together, you don't even get up to half a second. Fantastic. And that move gives Wolves the points lead by 1.
And pole position on the final.
Yes, indeed. Andre Trump, welcome aboard on the live chat. A former driver for this event for Aruba. And that was close. Wolves by Brown. Carla Fade finishes in 3rd. Sarai Garcia finishes in 4th. Fade is 3rd in points on 123 now. And Sarai Garcia 4th in points by 122. Vanessa Lariu finishes in 5th position with Abby Sanders 6th. Nicole Protivova in 7th. Marjolaine Martin in 8th. Geneva Negrini in 9th. And Lale Zepenio in 10th. Followed by Julia Milk, Leah Tajnikar, Margot Beal, Lisa Fisher. There were penalties for Tajnikar and Beal for contact. Then it was Fisher, Lemko, Joubert, Madirazza, Palchik, Schulze, Marciano with a penalty. She finishes 20th. Followed by Teo, Nikolaeva, Vinales, Bourgeois, Liputil, Mansiu, Koenig, Kikachova, Benoist, and Bolitot. And I think, unfortunately, Abby Sanders' title defence is coming to an end. She is 27 points behind Debbie Wolves, but some great racing here. Such a good start. from Louise Brown. And at this point, Debbie Wolfs, she hasn't got any help from behind. She had to dig deep, sideways action all the way further back in the pack. This is where Abby Sanders and Vanessa Lariou were scrapping. And Sanders eventually had to give best to Lariou. But here we go. This is later on in the race. Wolfs just sitting, being patient, staying cool, calm and collected. And so this, I think, is the move going off into turn number 1. And, Louise Brown giving a finger saying, no, not happy with that. Let's have a look again. There's an official right there. And, will there be recriminations after that one? But then again, this is why Sodi Kart have brought so many on-track officials to this to clamp down, and we're seeing lots of driving standards penalties. There is a panel of stewards here which are reviewing action as well. It's all fair in love and war, and that was a war. Was it all fair? Well, that's not for us to decide. That's why the officials get paid for their job. That's why Sodi Kart have got Manuel Branco here, one of the most respected race directors anywhere in the world of karting, and it's why they've got ex-drivers. Like they've got, Otto is out there from Latvia, an ex-driver. They've got several other people that used to race karts, so
Karts and single-seaters too.
So they know all the tricks of the trade.
And
they
as
could
far
say,
as we know, there are no penalties for the leaders so far.
So far.
That's for sure.
Everything that we say is provisional. The results, let's reiterate that. And yes, it was a good, strong battle. So there is the spectator area. The bar doing a roaring trade. I have to say that Karting Genk put on a fantastic barbecue last night for the endurance drivers, their teams, and ourselves. And now we head towards the last 4 superheats of the day. There will be a break after the superheats.
And that will be not even half of the day.
No, because
not even half of the races we will see today, because the finals will be even longer with 16 minutes plus 1 lap.
Exactly. The drivers getting their money's worth here. But of course, they didn't pay to be here. They qualified to be here. And that is the thing. So Karine Legrand saying bravo, Louise. Louise, second last year, but an unhappy second. Last year, Debbie Wolfs, her title defence ended on the opening lap, really, of the final. She ends up finishing 27th after being Brown's closest rival throughout the weekend. Now, here we go. This is where it gets not a little bit complicated, but it gets a bit more interesting. The Sprint Cup drivers have been split into 4 groups. The driver who has got the driver leading the points standings in sprint at the end of the heat, that driver, Remy Stalin, will start pole position in Group A, the first race. Second in points, Victor Vota will start on pole position in race B. Third in points, Diego Perez Lara will start pole position in Group 3, and Benjamin Kuyvers, who's fourth in points, will start from pole position in Group D. Simon Delven, who was fast in qualifying, he's fifth in points. He will be second on the grid in Group A. Logan Sunyi, who is sixth in points, will be second on the grid in Group B. So on and so on down the order. Every single driver will get a superheat and a final. There are the same amount of points available in every superheat and final. Obviously, when we get to the finals, the bottom 26 drivers in points will go in Group D. The next 26 drivers in points will go in Group C. The top 26 or the top 25 drivers of all will go in Group A. So when you get the finals, if you're in Group D, Group C and Group B, yes, you're fighting for double points, but you're not really fighting for the overall title. The winner will come from the last race of the day. It's a fantastic format. It's the first time we've tried this format. I have to say congratulations to Sodicart and especially Teo Yaquinta for thinking of this format, taking on board the criticism. I would say last year's event in Slovakia, the hosts were wonderful. The Slovakia ring and a fantastic venue to host this, but the driving standards got a little bit out of control
and it proved that semi-finals were not the best.
Yes, and this is a
format.
much better format along with more penalties. But while we look at an empty grid of go-karts, before we get the superheats for the Sprint Cup category underway, let's hear from our advertisers. Don't touch that dial.
Capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
We'll come back on the grid for sprint category, race number 1 in Superheats Group A. The leader in the point standings after 3 heats On the Thursday now, Remy Stellin staying in the pole position with the go-kart number 55. Simon Delven alongside on the front row. From the second row starting Levente Szabo and Trent Moroni going into the formation lap right now. In the row number 3, Duke Melchior and Makoto Kubo from Japan. Marco Favazzo and Alexis Melis 7th and 8th. P10 completed by Hirofumi Yamaguchi and Christopher Staune, Latvia. Also from P11, Kaspar Ritums and Kevin Andrea Maharo in P12. Then Adrian Janecko and Maciej Szubczynski in P14. Nikotic and Simon Dolzhitsky 15th and 16th on the grid, followed by Etienne Mayrand, Daniel Dobish, Octavian Lungo and Simon Laflan in P20.
Further down the order, Jan Chaika, and then we have Ian Fernandez, Philippe Josic and Jean-Francois Drapeau. We do not have Etienne Huytens. He has been excluded from the event. He had a few disparaging things to say at the end of his heat when getting a couple of penalties, so he was said, well, that's fine. You can go and say those disparaging things at home. So sadly, Huytens at his home track will not compete today. And Adrio Rodriguez cheering on Andrea Maharo from Madagascar. Link live timing, it is via the Sodi World Series website. So type it in. I don't know how to post links. How's that, Marco? www.sodiwseries.com.
We are ready to race. Marshals down the starting straight. The green flag is up. The green flag goes down. Stellin and Delven from the first row. Levente Szabo is really fast, going to the inside already. From third on the grid, Szabo is entering the first corner from the inside. There are a lot of drivers trying the tighter line in the first corner. Szabo is pushed wide and now is further back. Is it Stellin or Delven in the front now?
The blue race suit, Simon Delven, Levente Szabo there as well. They head down towards turn number 4. There is the blue race suit, green crash helmet. That's Hungary's Adrian Janecko. As we head down the Europa Plan straight and into turn number 5, the button chicane. Trying to get a glance of who is lead. That looks like Levente Szabo to me with the purple sleeves on his white race suit. So Slovakia's Levente Szabo, who is currently 9th in points, but the points are so close. There are just 10 points separating the top 20 drivers in the entire field. They're not all in this race, but it could not be closer.
It's Szabo leading from the side. His drive suit is purple, and then from the front it's white again, so it's very hard to see where Szabo went when he's going through the corner. Now he is leading the race with Duke Melchior and Remy Stellin fighting for second, joined by Simon Delven. Great start for Levente Szabo from third on the grid to the first.
Makoto Kubo runs in 5th position. The Japanese driver, will we see the traditional Japanese knee tuck from Kubo as they head down the straight? But Szabo has got company. In second place, Duke Melchior. That Duke Melchior has dropped to 4th with the silver crash helmet. So Stellin and Delven now run second and third. Then it's Kubo. Behind Kubo, Alexis Melis, Kevin Andrea Maharo, Madagascar up into P7, followed by Hirofumi Yamaguchi, Nikotic from Slovenia, Christoph Sauna from Latvia, then Janecko, Moroni, Dolzicki, Laflamme, Stubinski, Ritums, and Etienne Mayrand.
Stellin fighting with Szabo. That leaves Szabo before the clubhouse corner down to third. Now Szabo has lost his lead. Stellin and Melchior fighting with him. Melchior still staying fourth behind the Szabo. We have new leader at the second race of this lap. Moves up to the front. Remy Stellin and Simon Delven with him. They started on the front front row, and they are back in the front. There is Szabo going inside the first corner to the inside of the second. Can Szabo take back his lead? No, he stays third with Duke Melchior chasing him.
And of course, the minute that Levente Szabo sort of gave Stellin and Delven the signal to work with him, they went, no, sorry, mate, we're not going to do that. And they drove straight past him. Every position counts in points. It's 45 points for a win. At the moment, Stellin would be 71 plus 45. That would make him, well, we'll try and figure that out later on. Let's look at the action, because to the inside comes Simon Delven trying to take the lead away from Stellin. There's Szabo just in third position. Makoto Kubo has passed Duke Melchior for fourth position. We've got 5 carts battling for the lead. Then a gap back to 6th, 7th and 8th. That's Melis, Andrian Maharo and Yamaguchi. Then another big gap back to Teach in 9th. Everybody else still running but fading away.
Stellin and Delven in the points, but it's between them. Whoever will be first across the finish line in this race will be in front in standings and will start the finals from pole.
5-second penalty for Kevin Andrea Maharo. That will drop him from 8th position on track. Luckily, behind him there's a huge gap, so we only will lose one place.
Melchior goes in Szabo. Now Szabo is down to 4th, and through the 4th corner, Duke Melchior is up to 4th place.
Actually, I think that's Makoto Kubo into 3rd.
Melchior is still behind Szabo.
Yes,
Kubo overtook both of them.
Yes, the Japanese driver up into P3. Melchior with the silver crash helmet at the back of this lead group of 5. It's Delven leading with the black race suit, then the white and blue of Remy Stellin from France, then it's Kubo, then the purple and white suit of Levente Szabo and the silver crash helmet, as there goes Kubo into P2.
Well, Delven and Stellin, they could say thank you to Kubo by moving Szabo further back, but now Kubo is between them. Now he's pushed wide in the first corner. Szabo goes back to 2nd through the first corner, and now he's up to 2nd place back again, and Kubo is down to 4th.
Kubo got hung out to dry like the washing. Going into turn number 1 there, he was looking for the lead and comes out in 4th place. But the Japanese driver will not be denied. Back into P3 as these 5 leaders head down the Europa Plan straight. Alexis Melis is 1.8 seconds behind them in 6th position, followed by Yamaguchi. Even with his penalty, Adrian Maharo is in 9th place behind Teak. Trent Maroney rounding out the top 10. Then Sauna, Ionesco, Laflamme, Subsinski rather, Ian Fernandez, Dozicki, Chiaka, Josic, Ritums and Dobic.
And the leaders are through the last corner. We have still 6.5 minutes to go. Simon Delven fighting for the lead, and it's Levente Szabo back to 2nd again in front of Remy Stellin and Makoto Kubo. The points are decided now. With this order, Simon Delven will be 4 points in front of Levente Szabo. If Szabo goes in front, they will be equal.
They will indeed. Such a close points battle. Delven started this race on 67 points, Stellin on 71, Szabo on 65, Trent Maroney on 63, but Maroney has dropped back in the pack a little bit. The Englishman is 10th at the moment.
Szabo still following Delven. They are into the clubhouse corner. Now 5 leading carts, right? One after another. Delven, Szabo, Stellin, Kubo and Duke Melchior. There is a 1.2 seconds gap till Alexis Melis and Hirofumi Yamaguchi. They are still fighting for their 6th position, and we are back through the final corner with Delven leading and Szabo bumper to bumper. Szabo going to the right side from the middle into the first corner down the straight, joined by Remi Stelin. Remi Stelin following Szabo, and Delven is left outside. Now that leaves him third, and Szabo is leading.
And so Slovakia back to the top of the charts. Kubo looks over his shoulder in 4th position. Melchior sitting in 5th. And closing in is Yamaguchi and Melis. The gap back to Yamaguchi and Melis was 1.8 seconds. It's now 9/10 of a second.
And Stelin goes through. It seems like at the end of the Europa Land straight, Szabo is again second. Stelin is leading. Then Delven still no. Delven is not anymore third. It's Kubo now up. And when fighting with Duke Melchior, what they have done in the entry of the bottom complex. Now Kubo is back up to third. They're fighting Delven and Szabo for the lead now, and Kubo is joining the leaders. 3 fastest go-karts now in the final corner of this lap. Still 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go, and we have 5 pilots in a row through the starting straight. One more time, Szabo goes inside. Now it's Stelin who is left outside. Kubo stays wide, and Simon Delven using that now moves up to second.
Now, of course, not all these drivers will make the Group A in the final. They're all fighting, so 95 drivers across 4 heats are all fighting for 25 places in the A final.
And each point can mean 4 places down or up in the grid in finals.
Unfortunately, we can't bring you the live standings in the points as things stand. All we can talk about is what we're looking at on the racetrack and speculate about what each incident could mean. For example, Etienne Meyran's time penalty and Marco Pavazzo's time penalty have dropped them down. Now, we did see Kevin Andrea. There was a note saying a penalty for Kevin Andrea Maharo, but I think they got the number mixed up because Andrea Maharo is kart 24, Meyran is kart 25, and they've given the penalty to Meyran. So obviously, just a quick getting the numbers wrong. We got to move for the lead coming up, going into turn number 1, Gertz.
Szabo was leading, Simon Delven going inside through the first corner. Now Delven is in front, the same move Szabo executed a lap ago. Now Simon Delven takes back the lead. Szabo is second with leading. Szabo was 4 points in front of Simon Delven. Now they have swapped their positions at the corner number 4. There is something Makoto Kubo knows better than everyone else. He is making his moves there just before Europa Land straight.
Yes, indeed, and you can see on the Europa Prime straight, Kubo, he tucks his knees up under the steering wheel and leans back. That's the way that the Japanese drivers tend to try and increase their aerodynamic efficiency. Kubo checks over his shoulder. Melchior now under pressure from Hirofumi Yamaguchi. Look for the second driver in the white and red race suit of Japan. Oh no, Yamaguchi's got a slightly different race suit than Kubo. The lead trio head out on the start straight. Look at Kubo leaning back in his kart in 3rd place, but it's still Delven being pushed along by Szabo.
It seems that in this lap Szabo has decided not to fight but to try to run away from the pack. We still have 1.5 minutes to go, still 3 laps to the finish line. And this was the first time on the starting straight when no one of the leaders was trying to overtake someone in front of them.
Yes, Szabo maybe realizing that Makoto Kubo directly behind him is really strong through turns 3 and 4 and wants to try and keep Kubo at least a kart length or 2 behind him. Kubo draws up behind Szabo going down the Europa Plan straight. We've now got a group of 3 followed by another group of 3 with Stelin down to 4th. The points leader heading into this race is only running 4th. followed by Duke Melchior, Yamaguchi, Melis, Teach, then Adrian Maharo, Maroney in 10th, Sauna, Ionesco, Laflamme, Fernandez, and Etienne Mirand.
Szabo right behind Delven out on the starting straight. Kubo is following them closely. There is no gap between top 3 drivers, and Kubo goes inside. No, he stays in the middle. The door is shut by Delven and Szabo. They are fighting each other and trying not to let Kubo through. What can Japanese driver do in a third and fourth corners? He has made a lot of overtakings there. Now through the third corner, he's right behind Szabo. Into the fourth, and in goes Kubo. What does the Japanese driver know about that corner? He's going up almost every lap when he is there.
He certainly unlocked a key to an interesting line, or maybe he's just thinks, right, this particular kart likes this particular steering movement, and he is utilizing that. He's didn't notice it too much during the heat, so maybe he figured something out but thought, I'm going to save it for when it matters most of all. And there's a move. Melchior back up the inside of, I think that was Yamaguchi.
And Kubo is inside of Delven. He's going to lead. That is used by Levente Szabo. Great tactics from Szabo, and on the starting straight he is in front again. Now Kubo second, but on the outside Simon Delven and Remy Stelin going through. Kubo was just second, now is down to fourth, and Levente Szabo is leading again.
They were 3 wide for second place, crossing the start-finish line, and we are now on the final lap. Look for the driver in fourth place to make a move going into turn number 4. Szabo defends. Delven has a little look up the inside. Kubo swings wide on corner entry. He comes up the inside line, down the Europa Plan straight. Delven on the inside. Then it is Stelin in through the middle. On the outside, getting squeezed wide is Szabo. Kubo at the back of this pack. But it's Belgium's Simon Delven hanging on into 180. Behind him Stelin, and then Szabo. Kubo has something to do. Everyone else closing in, but Delven has to defend.
Delven and Stelin defensive in a clubhouse corner, and they succeed. Now Delven leading, Stelin right behind. Szabo going outside at the entry. Can he cut in and still fight for at least third position? Kubo is faster at the exit, and Szabo falls down to fourth. Simon Delven takes the win with 1/10 of a second over Remy Stelin. Makoto Kubo is third, and Levente Szabo down to fourth place, which is leaving him also only fourth in the standings, 8 points behind Simon Delven.
Well, let me have a little look. We're going to have to do some live on-air maths, which is always worrying. We will try and figure that out in the interim section, but at the moment it was Simon Delven winning from Remy Stelin, Makoto Kubo in third, Szabo in fourth, Melchior fifth, Yamaguchi in sixth, and the rest of the top 10, Melis, Teach, Adria Mahano, and Maroney.
So this was only a first heat in a sprint category. We have 4 groups of drivers. There are more points on the table for the super heat. We had only 26 in a heat. Now we have 45 to fight for. Simon Delven gets 45 in this heat. For second place, Remy Stelin receiving 41 points, 38 for Makoto Kubo, and only 37 for Levente Szabo. If Szabo could manage to hold the lead, he would be equal on points with Simon Delven. Now he's down to fourth, and in the point standings in this group, Makoto Kubo is third, 1 point more than Levente Szabo, 3 points more for Remy Stelin, and 4 more for Simon Delven. There are still 3 groups of sprint category drivers, which we will see on the track really soon here in Saudi World Series International Finals. Group B, Group C, Group D. So at your screens we can see the replay of the greatest moments of this race. Top 5 drivers swapping places all around the race with those 13 minutes plus 1 lap long race, and almost every lap we had a new leader, a new order in top 5 drivers, trying to communicate with each other, trying to work together, trying to oversmart anyone in the front. Great overtaking moves from Makoto Kubo in the fourth corner, and at the end in the final corner too. So Japanese driver takes the 3rd place in this race. But while watching the replays on the screens, we are waiting for Group B drivers to arrive for their superheat, to fight for their 45 points in the overall standings. And after all superheats, the points will be counted together with the points from the heats, and then we will know the starting order for each final, for final B, for final C, for final B, and for final E, where we will decide and crown the new champion of 2024 here in Saudi World Series International Finals. So a lot of races, lot of exciting racing ahead of us today in the last day of Saudi World Series International Finals. We are here at Karting Genk. Now it's 10:38 in the morning. The forecast shows that maybe at 12 o'clock there could be some rain. How that will affect our running? There will be a break between superheats and the finals. We have 13 minutes plus 1 lap in a superheat. We will have 16 minutes plus 1 lap in the finals, and then we will know who is the best of the best in each category and also in the sprint category. Celebrating the win in the superheat, Simon Delven getting maximum 45 points. But now back on the pit lane, waiting for the drivers. They are coming here on the left side of your screens and taking their seats in carts for Heat B.
Okay.
Matt.
Very, very unofficially, and this is not for everyone. So, as things stand, Remy Stellin would have 112 points. Simon Delven would have 112 points. Nicolas Levente Sabo would have 102 points. Trent Maroney would have 94. And Makoto Kubo would have 97. That is as far as I've got. Duke Melchior. Let's have a little look there. Who's next? Right. I'll do some more maths there. But there's the current contenders, and you can hear some steam coming off my head. That's because I'm running out of fingers and toes to
and
count on.
some gears clicking.
Yeah, slowly.
But while Henry is trying to remember how to add, divide, and multiply, we are watching drivers taking their seats in go-karts. There with a number 1 on his kart is Victor Wota. And now, a short break just before the start. We are back going to the grid for Group B in a superheat. In a sprint category, there is Victor Vota on pole position. Alongside him, Logan Sunye with a go-kart number 28. Then the second row on the grid.
Second on the grid, Taruki Nobe from Japan and Konstantinos Nusapoulis from Greece.
Followed by Albert Boss and Vladimir Yanchenko.
Remy Loth and Marco Silva round out the top 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of the grid.
Then Adam Ben-Hajj and Fabio Picado in P10.
Alessandro Grilli starts from row number 6 alongside Tom Vielputz from Germany.
From the row number 7, going to the formation lap, Olivia Kanalovic and Tommaso Pozzetti.
Jose Francisco Gonzalez Jimenez and Eduardo Favila from Brazil are next.
17th slot on the grid for Hans Flory, 18th for Amaro Maduro.
Jan Bonvin and Benjamin Dunatov from New Zealand are next.
And at the back of the grid, Vincent Hines, Pedro Raimundo Hernandez, Luis Andrade, and there is no Victor Christensen.
No, sadly there isn't. Currently, the drivers that have competed their superheat, like we said earlier, Stellin and Dalven tied on 112 points, Zabo on 102, Melchior and Kubo tied on 97, and Maroney on 94.
And then we will see how in Henry's table fits in those drivers now on the track and waiting in the pit lane for 2 more groups.
I will do. Oh, look at that. Oh, apex timing. Thank you very much. You have done my maths for me. Suddenly, on the heat emerges the current standings, which you can see on the live timing link.
That's just for that. We can admire your maths, Henry.
I got it
right. You are just correct.
I got it right. I added up correctly. It's only taken me 43 years, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It is going to be another very exciting race. I didn't even have time to check. The winning margin, again, for that last race was less than half a second,
yes,
easily.
There was a tenth, but not more.
Was there just a tenth? That's ruined the day, hasn't it?
And we go green again. Victor Vota, Logan Sunye alongside on the track. Teruki Nobe going inside, even on Victor Vota. Teruki Nobe from 3rd on the grid, now over the curbs into the first corner. And Japanese driver is pushed wide at the exit. He still manages to hold inside into the second. And Teruki Nobe leading the pack.
Like a samurai scything his way through the field, Teruki Nobe in kart 12 has the initial advantage. Oh, they're 4 wide coming around turn number 4. Everyone cleanly through the next couple of corners. Nobe under pressure, side by side for the lead. New leader, new second place driver. Vota and Sunyi push Nobe back to 3rd, and who's that coming through? Is that the Greek driver, Konstantinos Nusapoulis, pushing Nobe back to 4th place? We'll have to see as we head down the infield straight. Vladimir Yanchenko has made a good start as well, I believe. Everybody else safely through the first couple of corners. Driving standards very good at the moment. But as we come out of turn 10 through 11 onto the start-finish straight, it is the number 1 plate kart. Victor Vota leading Vladimir Yanchenko, then Fabio Picado up to 3rd. Good start for Picado. Nobe 4th, Sunyi 5th, Nusapoulis, Boss, Ben-Hajj, Vielputz and Gonzalez Jimenez.
Nusapoulis is fighting on the starting straight, now gaining 1 position. We have 4 leading drivers, and then 5th and 6th place going through the turn 4 right now. now, and onto Europa Plan straight goes Vota, Yanchenko, Picado and Nobe. Yanchenko into the inside through the straight, followed by Picado, and they are going through into the button S's. Victor Vota has lost the lead again.
Now, when Victor Vota was leading, he moved to the top of the point standings. Now he will move back to second position. The points tables will really come into play in the next couple of races. But, of course, the drivers have all got to think to themselves, one bad result, one spin, one accident, one failure, and they could move themselves out of the main event into the B final.
One penalty.
One penalty. So you've got to keep your powder dry in this one. Best way it's got to be.
We had 4 cars plus 2 in the previous lap. Now there are 6 in a row, followed by 6 more. 12 go-karts through the first corner in just one train. Yanchenko now is leading in front of Fabio Picado. Victor Vota is down to third. That wheels Remy Stelin and Simon Delwen leading the overall rankings, while Vota is third, Nobe fourth, and Sunyan Nasopoulos.
Move for the race lead. That looks like Fabio Picado. Up the inside, Yanchenko and Yacardo have pushed Victor Vota back a little bit. Vota fighting back. Who is that leading? It is the number 56 kart of Picado from France now leading, and the top two are breaking away because is that that's the blue race suit of Logan Sunyi. Somebody goes grass tracking coming out of 180, but Sunyi, the driver who's finished 17th in the last 2 runnings of this event, and Sunyi up into third place, but with a little bit of work to do.
Sunyi third, and now leaders across the finish line. Picado and Vota leading with a little bit of advantage over third place. They have a little bit more than half a second between second and third place. Logan Sunye. Nobe now is chasing Sunye. Konstantinos Nosopoulos is fifth, then Wilputs, Pozzetti, Yanchenko, Kanelovic and Boss at the end of top 10.
Yes, indeed. Into turn number 4 we go. Sunyi has Taruki Nobe sat on his rear bumper behind Nobe. Tucking in is Nusapoulis. Then it's Vielputz, Pozzetti. Yanchenko has fallen out of the lead group back to 8th position, just in front of Hungary's Olivier Kanelovic. The Dutchman Albert Boss is the first recipient of a driving penalty. Oh dear, Albert Boss. Have to say that he was about 18th in points, so he needed a good result. This penalty drops the number 7 driver back to 21st. That could eliminate him from the A final and drop him into the B main.
Victor Vota got a little bit faster exit from the last corner, but he is not trying to overtake. He is pushing Fabio Picado further away from the pack. He is trying to run away, not trying to overtake Picado, but unsuccessful. There is Logan Sunye. He's really close. We again have a train of go-karts going into the next lap.
Yes, indeed. Look at that. 2, 4, 6, 8 of them all lined up. France, Poland, Belgium, Japan, Greece, Germany, Italy, and Yanchenko, the neutral athlete. Here comes Logan Sunyi to
and
the inside.
Vota goes through fighting with Picado. They are losing to Sunyi. Sunyi now up to second place, entering the button S's. How many places there are lost from the lead to the fourth, going down?
Wow. That just goes to show you've got to be absolutely on the money. You miss your apex, you give one of your rivals even half a cart's width, and you will be squeezed wide. They'll squeeze you like a zit. And Sunyi up into second.
Fabio Picado losing in those tactics on the Europa Land straight. Now 4 cars back on the starting straight. Logan Sunyi up to second. Now following Victor Vota. Fabio Picado down to fourth, but still managing to hold in the leading group. Now there is a big gap between 5th place, and they can be lucky. There is a big gap in front of 5th place.
And I think we've got a new 5th place driver. I think that Tom Vielputz has been passed by Konstantinos Nusapoulis, maybe. He's just about held on. Actually, it's Jan Bonvin moving into contention in 5th position. Sunyi checks over his shoulder, tried to push Victor Vota away. Behind him, Nobe and Picardo also trying to work together. 4 at the front, 6 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
Victor Vota leading the race now is also, if he finishes first, he will be leader in the overall standings with 2 points advantage over Remy Stelin and Simon Delven. But there is a lot of work to do. 5.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Vota into the final corner, followed by Logan Saunier. They were not able to pull away 2 of them. They are trying to do that again. Saunier pushing Vota's go-kart over the hole, starting straight down into the first corner, jumping in the seat, trying to get those little margins just to run away from Teruki Nobe. Japanese driver is 3rd. Fabio Picado still holding 4th. There is a gap, and Olivier Kanalovic is new leader of the 2nd group in this race, going up to 5th in front of Tom Vilputz and Vladimir Yanchenko.
Yeah, Vilputz tried to make the move on Kanalovic for 5th going into turn number 1. You can see Vilputz there in the grey race suit, white crash helmet, looking to the inside. Kanalovic defending into Button. In front of them, here are your 4 leaders, and it's still Vota, Sunyi, Nobe and Picardo in that order. When will Logan Sunyi try to make his move? Victor Vota currently leads the point standings after 2 out of 4 superheats. The number 1 plate kart trying to keep that number 1, or keep it first in the standings. Victor Vota, looking at, he was 2nd last year, but Robin Affolter, who was the winner last year, we saw him racing in the endurance race yesterday. Not a lot, you can't race in more than one category here in the Saudi World Finals, and the whole field is on the start-finish straight. Slipstream City here in Genk.
3 leaders through the 2nd quarter already. Victor Vota, Logan Saunier and Teruki Nobe. Japanese driver joined the leaders. Saunier right behind Vota. It seemed like they were trying to work together, just not getting this flow together. There were different parts of the track when one were faster or other. So Vota and Saunier now catched by Teruki Nobe. 3 go-karts in the lead, going through the button S's. Vota, if he finishes first, he will lead the overall standings. If Logan Saunier is first, Vota will be down and Saunier will be level on points with Remy Stelin and Simon Delven.
Comment coming in from Nelson Desplat. All I can say, men are more dirty than girls. Well, how do you know about their personal hygiene, Nelson? I don't know what you're talking about. It's been great racing from the men and the women. And it's another great race evolving in front of us now.
Teruki Nobe just a little bit back from the 2 leaders. Can Vota and Saunier in the remaining 2 minutes catch their rhythm, catch their flow, and run away to fight in the last laps of the race? There is still at least 3 laps to go. They have time to find their rhythm together. They are through the 4th corner now, onto the Europa Land straight. Will Sunyi follow? Will Sunyi push Vota, or will he try to overtake? No, he's pushing. They're slipstreaming, but not so close we have seen in the other pairs.
Yeah, and you saw there the 3rd place driver, Teruki Nobe, knees up, the Japanese nip and tuck. And yes, Nelson, I am aware that the start of this race there was a little bit of elbowing. Thank you very much. But we'll leave it at that. Out of the clubhouse, Ben Sunyi, looking for a way past Poland's Victor Vota. At the moment, Vota stays.
And they are side by side going onto the straight. Very fast exit from the last corner from Logan Sunye. Now he is leading. Teruki Nobe trying to go inside, and he is behind. Sunye closes the door and now is leading the race. Nobe is left fighting with Victor Vota. That leaves Vota down in a third place. And now we have level on points. Logan Sunye, Remy Stelin and Simon Delven.
Teruki-san, new fastest lap for Nobe, 1 minute 40.483. Now Sunye into the lead. Smart driving from the Belgian. He knows this is his best chance at home soil. 17th the last 2 years. He's probably thinking it could be now or never for me winning a Saudi World title. Let's see. We're into the final minute plus a lap of the superheat.
There is only 40 seconds left before the clock says 0. Then 1 lap to go. They are approaching final corner till 30 minutes, so it will be 2 laps till the finish line. Was Logan Sunye overtake too early of Victor Vota or not? They are bumper to bumper through the straight. Is Vota leaving that to the final lap of the race? We still have almost 2 laps to go. Through the first corner goes Sunye, followed by Victor Vota and Teruki Nobe. There is a gap between Nobe and Picado in a 4th place. And Pozzetti now in the front of the next group of drivers, followed by Yanchenko, Kanalovic, Vilputs, Bonwan, Nosopoulos and Gonzalez.
Victor Vota there giving a signal, trying to signal to one of the officials, maybe not happy that he was getting shoved along there, and now he tries to push Sunye down the Europa plan straight. Still that battle of 5th between Pozzetti, Yanachenko, Kanalovic, Vilputs, Bonvin, Nusopoulos.
Inside goes Vota at 180 degrees, and Sunye is down to 2nd place. Victor Vota is back leading the race, and that means back leading the overall standings in the superheats. And now Vota in front, Sunye 2nd, Teruki Nobe following. We have still 1 lap to go. In the previous laps, almost each lap we get a new leader. Vota is back at the front. What will Sunye do? He is slipstreaming on the straight. Vota looking back. When will move Sunye? No, he is not moving. He's following Vota bumper to bumper into first corner. A little bit further back now is Teruki Nobe, but still in the fight. Very defensive line into the 2nd corner from Victor Vota. He knows this is the last lap of this race. We are approaching 4th corner. There is an opportunity to overtake. Nobe goes wide at the entry. At the exit, he is outside on Sunye. Sunye still behind Vota. Vota gets a better exit of 4th corner now into the button S's. Vota is leading. Nobe is side by side over the curbs, over the grass, back on the track. Sunye is pushed wide. Nobe stays back and Sunye maintains 2nd position. But there comes Fabio Picado. He is over Japanese driver and now going through. Sunye starting to drive defensive. He needs to be 2nd, not let anyone through. Victor Vota can drive away anyway. Sunye will be contender of the win. Still here in a Saudi World Series. Exit of the last corner. Victor Vota takes the win and Logan Sunye is 2nd.
And that is the biggest winning margin we have had all day. 1.5 seconds. A chasm between 1st and 2nd of 1.5 seconds. Sunye 2nd. The points lead currently is now held by Poland's Victor Vota. Logan Sunye finishing in P2. He slots into 4th in the point standings. Fabio Picado is 3rd. Teruki Nobe is now 6th in points with that 4th place finish. There was an incident on the last lap and it was Konstantinos Nosopoulos getting a penalty for contact that knocks the Greek driver down to 13th position, and he started the day 8, 10, 12. He started it 14th. Has that incident, and I was looking out of the window and I saw into turn number 2 there was a very aggressive move that obviously incurred the wrath of the stewards. As you watch the highlights, here we go, through turn number 1. This is what Nelson Desplat on the Facebook chat was talking about. Elbows most certainly out through turn number 1. Voter Yanchenko at one point was up there, and Vladimir Yanchenko eventually finishing 8th. It was Thomas Pazzetti finishing 5th, Kanilovic, Bonvin, Yanchenko, Vielputz and Gonzalez Jimenez the top 10. But really, I mean, I have to say, all the drivers at the front here using their heads, Vota, Sunyi, Picardo and Taruki Nobe. There was a fierce battle going on. Nobe led initially, then got shuffled back to 3rd, and it was really, you could see the knees up there from Taruki Nobe as he goes down the straight, but Sunyi had nothing to answer when Vota asked the question there, and the battle continued. Vota back to the inside, and it was then the battle between Sunyi and the fast-rising Picardo. At the moment, Picardo is 4th. Oh, Taruki Nobe-san over the curbs, and that opened the door for Fabio Picardo. Here's Picardo in P4, and now Picardo, he passes Taruki Nobe round the outside, tries to squeeze between Sunyi as well, but then he had to settle for 3rd, but 1.5 seconds, biggest winning margin of the day.
We still have 2 races left in Super Heats. We'll be back on track shortly.
Capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
Once again, it is time for the Sprint Cup. This is Superheat C.
We'll come back under overcast skies here in Genk, Belgium. The forecast shows less rain than before, so maybe it's just the clouds and we will survive dry.
Yes, indeed. We'll have to leave it to the drivers to provide the heat. It's unseasonably cool, even for Northern Europe at this point in time. Please keep your comments on the Facebook live stream coming in. We do appreciate them. The ones that I can understand and translate, which are very few, I will do my best to get your comments. Maria Rustakova, obviously supporting somebody, possibly the Polish team, Prajem Uspieni Ciel, possibly Slovakian, who knows? But hello, Maria. Hello, Maria.
It could mean something like we are wishing successful finish.
Yes.
I do not understand that language, but it seems something like that.
It seems positive. Right, the Aussies are back in. Kirsty Bonwick and the rest of the Queenslanders. Have to say, give him your all, Brock Thornton. My advice to Brock Thornton is give it a bit of extra yandle, mate. Jandle, mate. There we go.
What does it mean?
That's an Aussie term. The jandle is get your foot down and give it some beans.
Oh.
Make a bit of
Do that.
Give it a bit of extra jandle, me old son. How's that? So, Brock Thornton, he's got his work cut out for him, though.
13th
on the grid. There, see the drivers sitting in their go-karts. Here's Brock Jandal. Brock Jandal? No. Brock's got to give it some Jandal. Brock Thornton, meanwhile. Whoopah, Australia. Mark Godwin. Now, the whoopah, that's a Bas Lammers signal, that is. So please don't steal Bas Lammers. Do that. And I love the way that I say, please keep your comments coming in English so I can read them out. And Jacques Jarot instantly types in French. Merci, Jacques.
Don't
Merci.
you have a translate button?
No, I haven't. I can barely work my phone, let alone a translate button. Here we go then, your starting lineup for Superheat C. Pole position, Diego Perez Lara from España and Anthony Chavasson from France.
On the second row on the grid, Marco Brown on inside, Ricardo Lopez Pires on outside.
On row number 3, David Zalmans from Latvia and Essex's Jack Williamson. Go on, son.
From the fourth row, going on the formation lap, Nathan Salone and Nate Koshanina.
Nate Koshanina, double winner, junior winner last year, kids winner the year before, going for 3 in a row. Anthony Malvesin and Leonardo Bleak are up next.
Ahmed El Sisi and Janne Pajunen, sixth row.
Seventh row, Brock Thornton and Juan Esteban.
Then Marko Rosic and Mahdi Kadiri.
Mahdi Kadiri holding all the hopes from Morocco after their endurance team was forced to withdraw yesterday. Dwight Edwards Jr. and Amriel Afik Mokt Fakhrudi from Malaysia are next.
At the end of top 20, Dario Pemov and Michal Nemeth.
Behind Nemeth, we have Harry Suonen from Finland, Jonathan Söderqvist from Sweden, and Stoyan Dosev from Bulgaria. Well, 30 minutes plus 1 lap. 114 points is the target. That is what Victor Vota has. I am looking down there. See what happens. I mean, incredibly, Albert Boss, who had a penalty, is still clinging on to a place in the top 10. Mario Bonifacio is cheering on Portugal. You haven't got a Portuguese driver in this race. You do have drivers from Spain, France, the Czech Republic, from Latvia, from the United Kingdom, from Slovenia, Germany, Egypt, Finland, Australia, Slovakia, Morocco, the United States, Malaysia, Sweden and Bulgaria to cheer for.
And everyone is back on the grid after formation. Lap stewards going through, checking everyone is on their starting slot, pushing someone back to the correct place. Diego Perez Lara and Anthony Chevasson lining on the front row. Marco Brown and Ricardo Lopez Pires from second on the outside. And David Zalmans and Jack Williamson on the row number 3. There is some issue at the end of the grid.
Yes, which gives us a chance. Thank you, Jacques Jarrot. I understand that because he's saying thank you to myself and to yourself, Gert. It's a pleasure to bring you this event around the world to wherever you are watching for, and I do hope that we see you, some of you who are currently watching, at this event next year. You've got to go to your nearest kart track that hosts Saudi World Series events and get racing to try and qualify.
From that point, everything is possible. Just get there and start.
The first step is the step you take into your kart track. Now, here we go. This is something we haven't seen before. This is a kart being replaced on the starting grid. Now, we saw the driver signalling and saying something is wrong with my wagon. And
this is the first issue in
the very first issue
in 4 days of racing with a fleet of enormous fleet of karts, brand new Saudi cars here. This is only the first issue on the track with the go-karts. We went through qualifying, through the heat, through the 12-hour endurance race. Everything went so smooth, you can imagine that.
And I'm thinking that was either Dario Pemov or Michael Nemets who had a problem with the kart there. A new one is brought out. You saw the driver take their lead weight out. You've got to have the ballast, but meanwhile, green flag in the air. Green flag drops, and we are off and racing. It's a great start from our pole sitter, Diego Perez Lara, in kart 47. Grabs the lead from the number 4 of Anthony Chevasson. Marco Brown is there as well in third. Lopez Pires. So we've got 2 Spaniards, Perez Lara and Lopez Pires in first and fourth, but it's the first of those Spaniards, the pole-sitting Spaniard, who has the race lead.
Diego Perez Lara through the Europlan straight now, and Anthony Chevasson following him. A great start.
5 wide, that's a new record. Sorry, Gert, but we've had plenty of 4 wide action. That was the first 5 wide bit of action down the Europlan straight.
And somehow they managed to get through the first corner before Bataneses. No one is left in the tire barrier.
Exactly. That shows that the drivers are, some of the drivers are thinking with their heads. There's still a long way to go. 13 minutes plus a lap in this race.
Plus final.
Plus 16 minutes and plus a lap in the final itself later on. Every driver qualifies for a final, whether it's the A final, the B final, the C final, or the D final. Well, that is what we find out now.
3 leaders already after first lap. Lara, Chevasson and Brown leading by 1.5 seconds. All the others, Anthony Malvesin up to 4th place, Jack Williamson in 5th, and Nate Koshenina, Nathan Salon, Jan Pajonen, David Zalmans in 9th place, and top 10 ended by Juan Esteban.
Yes, indeed. Out towards turn number 4, the red and white race suit. The driver in 3rd place, the Czech Republic's Marco Brown, chasing Anthony Chevasson with the black race suit and the lime green stripes down it. The leader is Diego Perez Lara. He's got the sort of red parts on his legs of his race suit as they close through turn the button complex into 180. Already Anthony Malvesin in 4th place is pulling away from the group behind him. Jackpot Jack Williamson is next. There is Jackpot leading the white race suit of Nick Kosasina. Nathan Salwan. Actually, Salwan has passed Kosasina, and then it is Jana Pajunen from Finland.
Great clubhouse corner from Diego Perez Lara. There he got a small advantage, but it's not enough. Anthony Chevasson is side by side and goes through together with Marco Brown. Down to 3rd place goes Diego Perez Lara, and now he's fighting with Brown, trying to get back through the inside in the 2nd corner.
And it is, Brown went for the lead, got 2nd, ends up 3rd. And look at Malvesin. Last time around, the leader was 1 minute 15.5. Malvesin a 10th quicker. Williamson now up into P5. What can Jackpot do? I know that the people from the owners of the Brentwood karting team, I believe, are here today watching and cheering on the driver that finished 5th in this event a year ago. And Williamson has got the bright orange crash helmet of history, of Nick Kosasina closing in. Nobody has ever won 3 different categories in 3 consecutive seasons before in the history of this event. Nick Kosasina is the only driver that could do it.
3 leaders through the starting straight. Very fast clubhouse corner for Diego Perez Lara. He was fast also in this lap there, pushing forward Anthony Chevasson, but that's not enough to run away from Marco Brown. The clouds are coming over the track. Will be there a rain or not? Chevasson still leading Lara. Brown in 3rd, followed by Malvesin, Jack Williamson in P5, then Salon, Pajunen, Zalmans, Piris and Nemeth.
Nick Kosasina, 5-second penalty. That's going to drop the Slovenian driver out of the lead battle. Kosasina is down in on the track. He is Kosanina. I do apologise. That will put Kosanina down to 14th position. It improves Salwan to 6th. Then Pajunen to 7th, Zalmans, Lopez Pires, Nemec, and has Brock Thornton given it any extra jandle? No, sadly, he's down to 15th.
Lopez Perez down to 9th place, and now Lara 2nd after Chevasson. They are going on to the starting straight again. Chevasson leading, Lara 2nd, Brown 3rd. Who will try to make a move in the middle of the track? They are going into the 1st corner. Defensive line from Chevasson. He goes wide at the exit, tries to go inside Diego Perez. Lara stays 2nd, Brown still 3rd. We still have almost 8 minutes plus lap to go.
Now, Nick Kosanina is obviously aware of his penalty. He's got his foot down and he's at a 1 minute 14.991. That has improved his position to 13th after his penalty has been applied, but it's still Chevasson by millimetres over Perez Lara and Brown. Malvesin closing in, then Kosanina and Williamson.
And 3 leaders through the 180 degrees corner. Now the clubhouse corner was very, very fast for Lara in the first 2 laps. Can he make a move there? Can he try to pass Chevasson, or are they now working to run away from everyone else? There is Anthony Malvesin just less than 2nd behind them. There was 1.5 seconds at the beginning of the race. Now they are losing, and Anthony Malvesin is joining the party. Only 0.7 seconds till the 3rd place driver, and there is a fight in the 1st corner. Inside goes Lara. He goes through. Brown is doing the same, but on the 2nd corner, Chevasson has the inside line. So now Diego Perez Lara is leading. Anthony Chevasson is 2nd, and Marco Brown still 3rd.
And closing in all the while is France's Anthony Malvesin in kart number 21. Change of position.
And the rain has started.
Oh my word.
Inside tries to go Marco Brown. Unsuccessful move. Outside sliding Diego Perez Lara. Brown Brown from the outside into the button S's. Sliding is Lara. Chevason inside again. Then from third to first now goes Marco Brown. He is really fast in the wet now. Going inside out to the 180s. Chevason is second, losing 3 places already. Diego Perez Lara. Now he's chased by Malvesin. Going into the clubhouse corner. The rain is pouring down. How long it will be? How wet will be track? Anyway, Marco Brown shows his skills on the wet track already.
Welcome to Belgium. We've gone from bright sunshine to pouring rain in the space of 5 minutes, and that is good news, it seems, for Jack Williamson, who has already passed Kosanina. He now goes past Malveson. He now looks to the inside of Diego Perez Lara. Marco Brown skating round the outside of turn number 2 with
and also skating around top 3 in overall standings with this move. Marco Brown is fourth if he manages to finish first, and he's doing just great now on the wet track.
Yes, Chevason holding. Look at Williamson up the inside onto the Europa Plan straight. Finally, the British weather is paying dividends. Now, Williamson 2 wheels on the curb going into the button S's. He's teetering on the edge of adhesion. Inches away from disaster. Now we see the drivers moving their body weight around in the kart. Yes, this is where, when they're all on slick tyres, this is where you see who has the talent and the pretenders.
Or just the courage.
Who are the contenders? Who are the pretenders? Jack Williamson gives it a big point forward saying, push me, we're going that way.
Marco Brown leading the way, 3.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go, and Malvesin got the penalty that moves him out of the top 5.
Oh dear, Malvesin. That is, well, he's not in the top 10 in points, and that's going to dampen his spirits even more. Nick Kosanina is there in 9th place now with his penalty. It's Brown leading by a long way from new 2nd place driver Jack Williamson. He passes Chevason. There is Chevason, and behind him, let's have a look there. Where is? Is that Malvesin?
That was not enough for Chevason. He's further down. Only 1 position. He lost more.
So, Brown into the button complex. Yes, it's Williamson in P2. Then it is Diego Perez Lara. There you can see Jackpot looking over his shoulder. He leans and eases his body weight. He'll try and get maximum body weight over the outside tyres just to put a bit of extra weight on them, a bit of extra stability. Hard on the brakes into Clubhouse Bend. Further back, Davis Zalmans runs 8th. Kosanina is 9th. Esteban 10th. Payunen is 11th. Then Bleak. Nemets up to 12th. Good drive from Michael Nemets. Pemov. Brocky Thornton. How much wet jandal have you got, Brocky? Then it's Madi Kadiri, Dosev, Suonen, Edwards Jr., El Sisi, Söderqvist, Fakhrudi, and Rosic.
And Anthony Chevason behind Jack Williamson in the standings, but in front of him it seems it is Anthony Malvesin now driving in the top 3, but with the 5 seconds penalty. That is an obstacle in front of Anthony Chevason's hopes to get back to fight for a 2nd place with Jack Williamson. The rain has stopped.
Unbelievable.
Almost.
Unbelievable, Jeff. The rain has stopped as soon as it arrives.
But it was enough for Jack Williamson and for Marco Brown. Brown is leading for almost 2 seconds and Williamson 1.5 in front of Chevasson.
And you know what? Jack Williamson started the day 23rd in points. He now runs 10th. Okay, there's still another heat race to go, and he knows his chances of winning are gone, but another top 5, another top 10 in the final standings could be on the cards. However, with 50 seconds to go, the battle for victory's not over. Look at the Englishman closing in on Marco Brown from the Czech Republic. So,
the last time I checked, the weather in Britain was more rainy than in Czech Republic.
Yes,
so
yes.
That could be an advantage for Jack Williamson. He's closing in, only 0.8 seconds separating leaders in a penultimate lap of this race.
Yeah, Purfleet gets more rain than Prague. How's that? Now, in third position, Chevasson runs third. Perez Lara, Nathan Salwan is fifth. Lopez Pires is in sixth. Zalmans, Malvesin, Payunen and Kosanina round out your top 10. I have to say that with that rainstorm, we didn't have a single crash. Incredible driving on slick tyres from these Saudi World Series contenders, but it's game on at the front. The clock has struck 0. It's not the final lap yet, I don't believe. I can't see final lap on the screen.
It's penultimate lap now. They have 1.5 lap to go. Jack Williamson has 1.5 lap of opportunities and 1.5 lap of hopes to fight for the win in this race. Marco Brown is leading. Williamson is closing really fast before the last corner. They are entering the last corner of this track. 1 lap to go. Williamson holding tighter line in the corner. It seems he somehow is able to find more grip than Marco Brown.
As we go on to the final lap. Now, Brown using more of the traditional dry line through turn number 1. He looks over his shoulder through turn number 2. I think the rumour mill was saying that the Brentwood Karting were going to give Jack Williamson an entire free season of racing if he wins this race.
Or
maybe possibly
free French fries. Free French fries.
Free French fries. That's probably might be a little bit cheaper than that. I'm only joking, guys, from Brentwood Karting. Although you never know. You never know. Here we go into the button chicane. Williamson within a kart length of Brown. But look at third, fourth and fifth. Chevasson, Perez Lara, Malvesin are closing in. This could be a 5-kart battle for the win.
As soon as rain stopped, the previous leaders are coming back on fighting for the lead. Marco Brown just ran away in the rain. Jack Williamson moved through the ranks up to the second, and now they are chased by previous leaders. There is Chevasson fourth on the track now. There is a final corner. In goes Brown, in goes Williamson. Great lines out of the corner, and no one is able to do anything. Marco Brown takes the win, and Jack Williamson is second. Chevasson third, and Diego Perez Lara, after Malvesins and Koshirina penalties, is fourth.
And with that win, Marco Brown puts himself in contention for the title. He moves into 4th place overall. He started the day 11th in the standings. That is significant. Diego Perez Lara actually drops back to 6th in the points. Anthony Chevasson started the day 7th, currently 7th. He's going to lose places when the next race goes out.
And how's your math? If Jack Williamson now is 10th with this 2nd place finished, we have only 1 race left in superheat. That means Jack Williamson is in final A, right?
Absolutely, and he has got more points than Duke Melchior, Makoto Kubo, Trent Maroney. So, I mean, we could...
So the rain just flooded in Jack Williamson into the final A.
Yes, indeed. I think his nan's going to be doing a rain dance down in the in the grandstand area. And if she's not, Nan, then start jigging.
So we still have one race left in Superheat, then there will be a short break and we will be back with the finals.
Australia update. Brock Thornton, 12th, not maximum Jandal. Need more. Mitch Chimes goes for the Aussies in the next one. He'll be at the back of the grid. He needs V8 Supercar Jandal to get him up there at the order. Let's see how they do. Please dance for Call the Rain, guys. Well, you can't see us dancing in the commentary box. I tell you who wasn't dancing was that Sodi Kart official there on your screen who does not, and the other one who did not have a raincoat on.
And went there without umbrella.
Yeah, but now the track is almost bone dry again. Remarkable. So, looking at that there's a couple of spinners there in the wet conditions, but here's Williamson, and he passes 1-2. This is when the rain was at its worst, and just the different lines that the number 48 driver was able to use, and that was Chavasson running out of track. But we've got one race to go, ladies and gentlemen. One race to go in the superheats before we go to the lunch break. We'll have another short break before we go and complete this morning's on-track action. And that will be Sprint Group D. Scott Howard, you joined just at the right time. We're going to go and have a break, mate. Ta-da!
Capturer cette sensation? Rien de plus simple avec la caméra casque Cambox. Design ultra discret, adapté à tous les casques. Avec sa vue immersive unique au monde, captez vos émotions de course en toute sécurité. Caméra casque Cambox, the safest immersive memories.
Last checks before getting in, taking their seats and going on to the grid. Group D in sprint category here in Saudi World Series International Finals.
Yes, indeed. At the end of this race, we will know who will be in the A final, who will be in the B final, who's going to be in the C final, and who will be in the D final.
And who will start on pole? So far, Victor Vota has done the most, and with a 2 points advantage over Remy Stelin and Simon Delven, who are level on points.
Now, pole position for this race in the number 29 kart, Benjamin Kivers. Now, it is still misting with rain. The track is certainly going to be greasy. Simon Delven starts on 67 points. That's 5 points behind previous the point leader at the start of the day, Remy Stelin. Let me try and calculate. So 45 points for a win. That would put Simon Delven 707, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you know what? I got a feeling that tonight's going to be a good night for Victor Vota. It's going to be very, very tricky. Even with a win, Simon Delven can only move on to 112 points. Benjamin Kivers. Wrong Belgian. Well, same horse, different jockey. Simon Delven. So I think that Victor Vota unofficially, provisionally, may have secured pole position for the A final. With a win, however, Benjamin Kivers can go into a three-way tie for second in the points standings with Remy Stelin and Simon Delven. I believe the tiebreaker will be on who qualified the highest. Stelin qualified ninth?
Or there are heats.
The heats. Oh, okay.
The qualifying will be taken into account
the merge
if they
of
are
the qualifying.
tied.
Yeah, the merge of qualifying. So if it's a tie,
then the qualifying will decide. Not the heats, but the qualifying.
The qualifying. That's
we
right.
We will be looking back to the Wednesday.
So Delven was on average fastest in qualifying over when they merged the positions after the 3 qualifying sessions. Stelin was 9th after the qualifying merge. Kivers was 11th. So we will see what's occurring very shortly. Hello to Jarmo Virialainen, supporting Harry Suoninen. Hello to Ronnie Cena, supporting the Czech Republic driver, so he'll be happy with Marco Brown's win. And Nelson Desplat, thank you again. Thomas Theo's father and nice on TV. I didn't spot them on TV, but yes. Plenty of faces. Great camera work here, giving you an insight and an idea, not just what's going on the track, but the people who are supporting as well.
So we are into the final moments before this race. Group D getting ready to go on the track. The track is drying already. The sky is overcast and the clouds are going over, but no rain so far after the previous race.
Yes, here we go. Out onto the grid before their rolling lap. Here is your full starting lineup.
Watch the locals. Benjamin Kivers got the rain suit.
Yes. Does he know?
All the majority of drivers are in their racing suits.
Which will mean that if it does rain again, they will get very cold. But also, and this is something that a race suit with no rain cover weighs a lot more when you douse it with water. Now, it's going to be Benjamin Kivers on pole position from Belgium and Alberto Brentegani from Italy on the outside of row number 1.
Ilya Miftakudina from Ukraine and Karl Herbier on row number 2.
Victor Klublitsky is on row number 3 alongside Massimo Mattioli.
Then from the 4th row, going to the formation lap, Niklas Essa from Germany and Kirill Martolog from Ukraine.
Austria's Simon Liegel and France's Enzo Giracek on row number 5.
Jakub Tworczowski and Antoni Simon from row number 6.
Then it is row 7, Sven Chevalier from Switzerland and Laurent Carrier from France.
Khaled Alameri from 15th on the grid, and alongside him Tomasz Romczyk.
Then it's Russians Denis from Latvia and from Oman, Nofil Al-Balushi.
Followed by Michal Vilim and Ahmed Al-Hamadi.
And Mitch Chimes, Stefan Marudov and Aidan Campbell-Bailey round out your starting lineup.
We are in the formation lap. In the yellow rain suit goes Benjamin Kuyvers. It is, as Henry said, if it rains, your race suit is getting wet and heavy. If it doesn't rain, your rain suit is
deflecting the water.
Is worst in aerodynamics, so you are flattering all the straight.
So it's, do you want to have less aerodynamics or more pneumonia? One of the two. I would say, well, for the sake of winning a race, I'd take a bout of pneumonia any day of the week.
So Benjamin Kuyvers back on the grid, inside on the first row. Alberto Brentignani joined him in the first row. Then Ilya Miftakudinov and Karl Hermier on the outside of the second. Kublitsky and Mattioli, Esser and Martolog. First 4 rows already in their positions. Stewards going down the starting straight, checking everyone is where he has to be, and we are waiting for the final superheat of this day. This will set the participants in the all 4 finals, D, C, B, and who will be fight for a Saudi World Series International Finals champions. Kuyvers and Brent Tegani going side by side into the first corner. Kuyvers has inside line, but the outside now has more grip. Brent Tegani, they are going through, holding second, trying Ilya Miftakudinov defend, and pushed wide is Benjamin Kuyvers. He has lost the lead and now he's fighting only for 6th.
And somebody in the middle of the pack goes grass tracking. It's Alberto Brentegani side by side for the lead with, is that Karl Hermier going into turn number 4. Oh, some drivers running out of track onto the grass blocks there. Actually, that might not be a bad move. The grass blocks could be a little bit grippier, but it's Brentegani, white crash helmet, leading. Ooh, third place, late on the old anchors going into the button chicane, and somehow they all squeeze through unscathed.
Absolutely unpredictable is the track and the grip in the different parts of the track. Now the drivers who are going outside hoping for better grip there are losing to the drivers who are going middle between the rubber thin asphalt and the outside lines, just with a shorter way through. And the rain is coming again.
Your
dance was successful, Henry.
The rain dance was successful. Benjamin Kuyvers, he'll be grateful for that. That could give him an advantage back, because Kuyvers in the bright yellow wetsuit is currently back in 6th position, and it's Brent Tegani from Hermier, from Miftakudinov, then Mattioli, Kublitsky, Kuyvers, Martolog, Giracek, Legal, and Ahmed Al-Hamadi. The driver from the UAE has made a storming start and is up into 10th position.
We do not know which one of them was hoping for rain and who wasn't, but now they are lined up in the second lap of this race, going outside lines already. Brent Tegani, Hermia and Miftakudinov, a leading group of 3. Then Mattioli, Kublitsky, Kuyvers and Martolog.
Right at the back of the pack, Aidan Campbell-Bailey. I think it is safe to assume that Aidan was one of the drivers not doing a rain dance. He has dropped back to 23rd position. Brentagani with this lead. If he stays there, that would give him 111 points and puts him 4th on the grid for the main event. But there is less than 10 points separating the top 8 as things stand.
And Brentagani is losing already. Hermia and Miftah Kudinov got in front of him. They are approaching final corners of the lap, and it's changing again. Brentagani now is 3rd. Miftah Kudinov fighting with Karl Hermier for the lead in this race. They are through the final corner.
Karl Hermier with that very distinctive crash helmet design. Red top, white stripe, black bottom. And he crosses the line. Oh, sorry, that is Miftah Kudinov's crash helmet. The red top in the second position there. He's got the white race suit on. Karl Hermier taking a wide line. Miftah Kudinov taking a tighter line through turn number 1. And you just saw flashing through your screen, Benjamin Kuyvers is already back into 4th position, passing Kublitsky and Mattioli.
And then Kuyvers goes down again to 5th place. Now approaching turn number 3. He's 1 place down again. Hermia, Miftah Kudinov and Brentagani leading. The gaps are increasing now. The rain has stopped for a while again.
Yeah, the rain has stopped for this lap. I wonder if it will return again. The weather is as unpredictable as the racing. And Ukraine's Ilyas Miftah Kudinov trying to hunt down France's Karl Hermier. Alberto Brentagani is dropping away in 3rd position, and I have noticed that Mattioli has managed to stay ahead of Kuyvers.
Kuyvers still 5th, approaching clubhouse corner. Ilya Miftah Kudinov is taking his chances, trying inside lines, almost entering every corner. Hermia in front of him, Miftah Kudinov chasing. They are going out on the straight, losing grip at the exit of the final corner is Ilya Miftah Kudinov, and now Hermia is in front.
Hermier on the grass, coming out of the final corner, shaking his head, understeering wide. I thought Miftah Kudinov might have made a mistake. He did make a mistake, but then the leader made a mistake as well. Oh, sideways through turn number 1 for Miftah Kudinov. Now round turn number 2, as now you're going to, those tyres, those slick tyres that are on Hermier's kart, well, the left-hand side are going to have grass on them. They're going to be a little bit more slippy. And look at Miftah Kudinov closing back in.
Miftah Kudinov and Hermia on the Europaplan straight, going inside Ilya Miftah Kudinov, fighting for lead and entering the bottom chicanes. He has lost again, running wide under braking, and Karl Hermia gaining the lead again, approaching 180 degrees corner. Hermia is back in lead. Miftah Kudinov has lost about half a second with too late braking after Europaland straight, and now they are at the clubhouse corner. Brentagani is joined by Michael Mattioli and Benjamin Kuyvers.
Yes, there they go, 3rd, 4th and 5th. The 2 Italians there, 2 plain white crash helmets, black race suits. Brentagani has the red stripes down the legs of his race suit. Mattioli has some green patterning on his race suit. Kuyvers is closing in, and yes, it's I think the Italians are going to be the mayo on Kuyvers' frites. 5-second penalty for driver number 45, Ruslan Zdenis. And I apologise now to Aidan Campbell-Bailey, because he did previously set the fastest lap, and he is now charging back up the order. But it's Kuyvers 3 seconds quicker on the last lap than the race leader.
And he is in. 5 cars fighting on the Europaland straight. Kuyvers still is 5th, but they are all together. Still leading Karl Hermia, still 2nd Ilyas Miftah Kudinov, but they now are 5 cars. Brentagani and Mattioli, 2 Italians, swapping places during the Europaland straight, and out of the 180 degrees, still leading Hermia, still 2nd Miftah Kudinov. They are in the middle of the track. The Italians trying outside, and through goes Benjamin Kuyvers, one place up to fourth. Now he has 3 cars in front of him. Kuyvers goes inside into the last corner. No, he stays out. Mifta Kudinov is in. Kuyvers goes in, cutting his line, and he is second.
Here comes Benjamin Kuyvers. Now he switches to the outside line. He's going to try and get a monster undercut. And who is that he's signalling to? Was he signalling to another driver to say, come past me? I can't believe that. Oh, he tries to go round the outside. Not happening. Here comes Mifta Kudinov back into P4. Brent Tagani is down into 5th position and closing in now to make it a 6-kart battle. That is Viktor Koblitsky. So we have 2 Italians, 2 Ukrainians, a Frenchman and a Belgian. And it's Belgium chasing France down the Europa Plan straight.
France moving to right already at the beginning of the straight. Kuyvers from the better line into the button S's. Kuyvers needed less than half a lap to move from 5th to 2nd, and now he's chasing the leader. Great lines from Kuyvers at the end of the previous lap. Now he has only 1 kart in front of him. Hermier already going defensive into the clubhouse corner. 3 corners till the end of the lap. Hermier leading, Kuyvers second. There is Mifta Kudinov back in a 3rd place, leaving Italians behind. And we are back on the starting straight. 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Benjamin Kuyvers up to 2nd and stays there in front of Ilyas Mifta Kudinov. Then Kublitsky, Mattioli, Brent Tagani.
And it's, if you're looking at local cartoon characters, it's Asterix.
And goes inside Kuyvers in the middle of the 2nd corner. Double apex is success and goes through Benjamin Kuyvers. He is back at the front.
Tintin ahead of Asterix. Now, will Asterix show Tintin his goal down the Europa Plan straight? Kuyvers,
they are discussing
gives
something.
him a wave. Yeah, he's probably saying, I want to lead. No, I want to lead. He's like, well, come on, push me, push me. Let's see. Hermier could do well to just sit and follow the local expert.
Kuyvers is just looking for someone who will agree that he is leading.
Yes, there we go. And Mifta Kudinov says, well, you two continue to look at each other. I'm going to try and look for the race lead. They're pulling away now from the 2nd group of drivers.
Stop chatting, says Mifta Kudinov.
Yes. Koblitsky is 4th, Mattioli 5th, Brent Tagani 6th, Legal 7th. Then it's Martelog, Shuvali, Juracek, Zenis, Al-Hamadi, Simon, Karya, Romchik, Essa, Twazowski, Al-Balushi, Vlim, Alameri, Chimes, Campbell-Bailey and Marudov.
And there are 3 cars side by side going into the 1st corner for the fight for 6th place. Now Kuyvers leading, Hermier 2nd, Mifta Kudinov 3rd. Have they managed? Who will slipstream who? And it seems Kuyvers is not more communicating with anyone behind him. He's just running away.
Kuyvers. Oh, Australia. Mitch Chimes is officially giving it the jandal. Fastest lap for the Aussie. 1 minute 16.425. Someone kicked his kettle and woke him up at last.
But he is down in 21st place, but managing to set fastest lap of the race.
Well,
that shows how competitive those drivers are here in Saudi World Series.
And it also shows that, the karts are so equal. The drivers that are down at the back are still able to put good lap times in. The lap times are improving again, and which means the rain has continued to stay away for the last couple of laps at least. Number 10 getting a warning flag, Laurent Carrier.
Mifta Kudinov closing on Karl Hermier. It's a fight for 2nd. Wide goes in a 1st corner. Hermier. It's not enough to Mifta Kudinov to gain this place. He's still driving 3rd. 2nd for Hermier and Benjamin Kuyvers with a few tenths of advantage in front.
Kuyvers moves on to 113 points. So my maths earlier was wrong. A win would secure.
Mifta Kudinov moves past Hermier. Now he is driving 2nd.
Mifta Kudinov. So Kaiver's at the moment set for the outside front row starting spot in the main A final. Mifta Kudinov is there now with the third place fastest lap, 1 minute 15.5.
Mifta Kudinov driving second. Hermier lost in the beginning of this lap. We have less than a minute to go, 25 seconds to go, 3 corners till the finish line. We'll be there 1 or 2 laps till the end. 15 seconds more. Benjamin Kivers through the last corner, out on the starting straight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5. He goes through. We have 2 laps to go.
Good news for Mifta Kudinov and Hermier. Bad news for Kivers. Now that the track is drying back out, that local knowledge isn't as useful. Don't get me wrong, it's not
leveling out.
But it's leveling out. Correct phrase, well done. New fastest lap, Thomas Romchik. Now 1 minute 15.2. Penalties. Jacob Twarzowski, Laurent Carrier, and Nicholas, that is Ruslan Zenis with penalties. And that moves Anthony Simon into 10th, Romchik to 11th, and Al Hamadi up into 12th.
Mifta Kudinov chasing Benjamin Kivers. Mifta Kudinov is out of top 10 in overall ratings now, but if he is going through, he will put Kivers out of the front row on the grid in an A final. That's the fight for pole position for the Kivers. He is going back on the inside on the Mifta Kudinov. Now Ukrainian is outside. Through goes also Karl Hermier, and Kivers is back in front again, which will give him a front row start in a final.
Let's take one quick moment to say well done to Ukraine. 3 drivers in the top 6 at the moment. Martolog is 6th, Kublitsky is 5th, and Mifta Kudinov is 3rd, but looking for a win. Kivers, though, is going to be a tough cookie to pass.
Mifta Kudinov, Hermier and Kivers out on Europa Land straight is closing the door. Hermier in the middle of the straight. He goes to right, not to allow Mifta Kudinov pass him. 3 leaders in the button S's now. Last lap of this race. Last lap of super heats, and inside goes Hermier. He's the one who is overtaking Kivers. That means Kivers will lose a front row start in a final. They are in the clubhouse corner. It goes in. Hermier, Kivers had a better line, and we still have 2 corners to go. End of the lap, end of this race, end of the super heat. Kivers is inside. Mifta Kudinov goes through on the starting line, and Ukraine takes the win.
Mifta Kudinov, Ilyas Mifta Kudinov takes the win, and he set that up perfectly. There's some finger wagging going on between Kivers towards Hermier. I think Hermier drove in very deep, forced Kivers wide, and I was watching Mifta Kudinov took a very wide entrance, just got the grip, undercut the pair of them coming out to take the win by 0.6 of a second. But what has it done to the points?
0.6 of a second. This 0.6 of a second has moved Benjamin Kivers from front row start to the 6th in the standings now.
And it moves Ilyas Mifta Kudinov into 5th position. Unofficially, Victor Vota on 114 points will start the A final from pole. Remy Stellin and Simon Delven tie for second on 112 points. Marco Brown, Ilyas Mifta Kudinov and Benjamin Kivers on 109. Logan Sunyi 108. Diego Perez Lara 106. Anthony Chivasson 105. Levente Sabo 102. Very quickly before we go to our break, what are the points in the final on offer? Let's have a little look.
It's a 110. 115 for first place, 105 for second, 100 for third. It will be decided in the final.
So what we're saying is, you're looking at some of the highlights. Basically, if Anthony Chevasson in 9th place wins the superheat, wins the final rather, and there's some action back in
and
the pack.
Victor Botta is not in a top 3.
Well, no, if Victor, no, it's a 10 points difference. If Anthony Chevasson wins the final and Victor Botta is second, any one of the top 9 can win the entire event simply by winning the final. Fantastic. That's what we want to see. Well done, Sodicarp, for creating a format that means it's all to play for in the final. It's not winner takes all, so the drivers have to use their heads. Fantastic. There's a couple of moves. We're looking there. Carrier, Mr. Kadinov. At this point of the race, Benjamin Kivers had been put back to 5th position. But when the rain returned, Kivers just started eating up the competition like a Belgian in a waffle shop. What can you say? Here we go. We're looking at the replay. Kivers to second. Carrier in the number 11 car. Hermia in the number 11 cart there. Wasn't he? Kivers just diving up the inside. Beautiful move there from Benjamin Kivers. Mifta Kudinov made his bid for victory, and this was before the rain arrived, or maybe after the rain arrived. No, this is after the rain dissipated, and we had,
Then Hermia went through again, and Kivers second, chased by Mr. Kudinov. Those 3 drivers decided this race and fought for the places on the grid in the A final. There goes defensive Hermia, and Kivers is following him. They were together in the last corner, and in the last corner everything went great for Ilya Mifta Kudinov, and this move actually put him into the A final.
Well, it has been a fantastic morning's racing, ladies and gentlemen. We are now going to take a break. The finals begin at 1 o'clock local time, 1 p.m. Central European time. I can't tell you what time it's going to be in your home country. Tell you what, Google it. We'll see you just before 1 p.m. local time for the main events. See you later.